and welcome back to another week of Xbox Infinite. If you don't know, I just wanted to make this very clear at the start of this show. This is a pre-record. We do go live with it and we'll be in the chat, but we are not actually live. This is the pre-recorded week of the show, and we've just had a new topic added to our topic list, and we'll get to that in a minute, Umbra. But before we do, Ham Solo, welcome back, man. It's been a minute. How you doing? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? How's your week been?
Yeah, man. I think it's been like, has it been like I don't know. It's been a little while at least. I was gonna say a year, but I don't know if it's been that long. But anyways, oh my goodness, I'm getting demolished right now in Vampire Survivors as we speak. But as for what I've been playing lately, I beat 50 Cent Blood in the Sands yesterday for the first time. That was an interesting game.
50 Cent.
Yeah, 50 Cent.
Never played that.
Apparently it was a good game though. That was the rumor.
It's fun. Good. It might be a little of a stretch. I'd say it's fine. I'd say that.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine, and it's a good time, but is it like something that, I mean, let me put it this way. I beat it in like 3 hours or less.
Right. Game Pass, I'm assuming.
So it's a very, no. Did you say Game Pass?
Mm-hmm.
No, you have to buy this game to be able to play it. You have to have a physical copy. You can't even play it digitally.
Cycle. Right. Gotcha.
It's just one of the games in the backwards compatibility list that you can actually buy and still be able to play on a Series X, which is something you can't do, from other places.
Low key shot.
But yeah, that game's fantastic. I've been playing Diablo 4. I got to level 25 with a sorcerer, and that electricity is OP in that game.
Yeah, man. I was playing a bit of that. That's sort of going live today, but we'll go through the intros. We'll get back to Diablo 4. DoomCutie, welcome back to the show. How's your week been? What have you been up to? It's pretty goddamn early for us West Australians over here, so I hope you had enough beauty sleep.
Oh, thanks for that, Riskit. Yeah, no, it is extremely early, but as always, I'm happy to be here and happy that Ham Solo is here. It's always wonderful to have you. This week, I have been really into the latest patch in World of Warcraft. I know that isn't all your jam, but I tell you, I've been really enjoying healing on my Holy Paladin. The updates to Paladin have been incredible. They're getting a little bit of love. I usually play Mage, but as always, at the end of expansions, it's not until the end of expansions that mages are any good. So I've been jumping in there. But I'm also looking forward to jumping into the Forza Horizon 5 rally update, which is live, I think, tonight. So hopefully I'll be jamming that very soon. Looking forward to that.
World of Warcraft.
Yes.
JediKnightPeter, how you doing? Welcome back. Another week in another Xbox Infinite. What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I think we're playing RoboQuest in the background today, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys think about that, because we've been playing that quite a bit, haven't we, Riskit? It's a great game to play, as well as Halo, Fortnite, in the regular games that I play, and a little bit of Hogwarts. I'm downloading the open beta to Diablo 4 now. I didn't pre-order the game, so I had to wait for the open beta. It's 100 gigs. It's quite sizable, but I'm really looking forward to jumping into that. Heard nothing but good things. Ham, I've heard that the Sorcerer build is awesome, and I do want to be as the Emperor, use that lightning. Looks really, really cool, but I think I'm going to play as Rogue first. So, yeah, welcome to the show, mate. I know it's the second time you've been here, so, yeah.
Yeah, it has.
I'm looking for that necromancer.
Oh, sorry, that was my necromancer voice. It has been a minute actually since you've been. I think it has been pretty close to a year. So it's been a while. So it is good to have you back, Umbra. Another person that is good to have back. Welcome back to the show. How's your Uber Eats? How's your week been? What have you been up to? What are you eating?
Oh man, it's delicious. I got myself a chicken salad. I'm smashing it as I speak. Well, not as I speak, but just a second ago. Anyway, it's delicious. My week's been all right. I've been playing some Halo Season 3. I got a lot of that out. I finished my Battle Pass for Season 3 already, by the way. That's done.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
You're so good.
Have you played Lightspeed in Community yet?
I believe so. That's the switch, right? When you switch to different I think when pressing the button, the RB button, you switch to different dimensions or something like that. Is that the one?
No, the Lightspeed one is when you're driving a Warthog and you go through like this thing.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done
And you just like run over the people with hammers.
Yeah, you got it. And then if you get killed, you have to try to take out the people with hammers. Yeah, I've done that.
Oh man, it's so much fun.
It is pretty fun. Yeah, I did that a few times actually. We did it in the community night at one point too.
Yeah, we played it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. But yeah, I'm enjoying Halo Season 3. Some issues I have with today's this week's rather event, I guess, Fractured event. You know, it's all solo lone wolf.
Yeah.
It's all lone wolf styles. But it's kind of interesting because King of the Hill kind of sucks trying to play that in a lone wolf. But especially in Chasm, because it's right in that center location, Pete, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's been pretty fun, and I am going to download the beta for Diablo 4 as well. I'm not sure which build I'll use, but I might go for something that uses Frost. I've seen that's been OP as well.
Yeah, sorcerer build, mate.
Might do that. Although I do like attacking instead of just doing magic spells, so I'll see.
But with the Halo Battle Pass, you don't actually need to play Lone Wolves to unlock the event either. So I was playing Quick Play yesterday, and I was still unlocking the events, which is good because I jumped into Halo yesterday with Riskit, and I think Halo's a community game. I don't particularly like playing it alone.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a community
outside of the campaign.
Yeah.
I did forget to mention. I did jump into the Diablo 4 beta, but the queues were extremely long, so I didn't get a chance to get it on stream. And yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in that, but that's just how these launches go, I think.
Did you get any time in it at all, or?
Yeah, I got a little bit of time. I think I got like to level 8.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
But I just kept getting kicked off, and a bit disheartening. But that's all right.
I think you need
They'll
to get
sort
to
out the
level.
kinks.
I think you need to get to level 20 to get the special unlocks.
That's right.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
I believe you get a cat.
You get a cat.
Yeah.
Oh, how exciting.
A DoomCutie, if you will.
A DoomCutie.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Well, I played a bit of it. I think I got to like level 10. But I kind of restarted a few times because I didn't quite get to the village properly, and then I got interrupted and did that a couple of times. I didn't like Diablo 3. It just wasn't my jam. And my issue with it was the movement. I don't like having to stop when I'm attacking. That kind of annoys me. But same thing happens.
Played for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's crap. But the same thing happens in Diablo 4. And I kind of like that. Yeah, well, I have played it before. I played it a few times. Like I had Diablo 3 not long after launch, and I just couldn't get down with it. But 4 seems a bit different. I'm liking 4. I wouldn't say it's like I don't get the full hype around it, but I mean maybe I will once I've played the whole thing. And what else have we been playing? We've been playing a little bit of this kart racer that's on screen now. This is absolutely awesome. It's free to play. So I would recommend everyone download it because it is fun for a jam. Bit of RoboQuest, bit of Halo. But anyway, let's get into the topic. Should we get back to the discussion that we're having in the green room, Umbra?
Absolutely. And about how I was right about Unreal Engine and more games. Yes.
So you're telling me to mute myself right now so you guys can have a 10-minute
single
session?
game.
Oh, you can jump in, Ham.
Made in
Ham.
Unreal Engine.
I mean,
How long did you
what
agree
is
with
there
me?
to say about this? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, so long as you agree with me, I see no problem with you joining in on this discussion.
So, look, this is the.
I don't know if Umbra wants me to join.
This is the thing, and with businesses, with like even the delis next door to each other, if one deli becomes too big, it becomes big because it competed well. It was good. It was probably the best deli, and then all the other delis shut down, and then the big deli Doesn't have to
Are we
compete
doing
anymore.
some Reforged stuff right now? Is this Reforged?
And then the Coke at McDonald's is $50 a cup.
It does sound like Reforged, doesn't it? See, and I come at it from a different angle. See, when I hear that type of talk, that's developer talk. That's business talk. I'm a gamer. I don't care nothing about any of that. If other developers can develop their engine, good. I hope so. There's plenty of money out there for them to develop their engines to get them out there. That's not for me to worry about. I am worried about what I can get out of one of the best, if not the best engine in gaming, and that's Unreal Engine 5, and more so going on and on, such as we've seen today in the Unreal GDC display, Unreal 5.2 that they show with Fortnite, for instance. Listen, the biggest thing is this. Unreal is big for a reason, and it's because it's one of the best. You don't just get there by happenstance. So it doesn't behoove me, as I like to say, to worry about
My
these
goodness.
other
Here we go again.
yeah, to worry about these other engines. But I do get you guys' point. You do want to have, competition. That does matter. But it's not for me to matter. So for me to worry about, rather, should I say.
Okay,
That's
cool.
for them
So-
to do.
so-
And when we saw, for instance, with how beautiful,
Mhm.
some of these games, not some, all of these games looked in Unreal Engine, including Hellblade 2, nobody could deny that I was correct all along.
Yeah, so
I'm
first,
gonna step in real quick.
No, let me just before you go,
guys
because-
shift this.
Was that a bit too? Was that a bit too
this,
maniacal? How I said
just
that? Or I
give
don't
me
know.
2 seconds before you
Before
go,
you
'cause
shift-
I just want to
Before
say.
you shift on what?
I just want to say that, so initially, if developers cop more cost, that's going to the gamer, especially if it's PlayStation. It's going straight to the gamer, and you so that does affect you. Secondly, don't think of it like monetary. It means that Unreal has to stop competing. That doesn't mean that they'll stop competing monetary. That means that they'll stop pushing their engine as hard as they have to get it to the point that it's at. Possibly. Ham, what you say?
I was just gonna say that I see what Umbra's saying, how it's not really our problems, but at the same time, I kind of agree with you, Riskit, that other people do still need to. There still needs to be some sort of proprietary things when it comes to innovation. Sure, I agree with you on that, but at the same time, it's hard to really say that something's gonna out innovate Unreal.
Correct.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Ham, that Unreal has proven itself this generation to be, I think, leaps and bounds above the others at the moment. That's not to say that the others can't catch up, but they have definitely invested a lot of money into Unreal Engine 5, and they are getting the benefits of it. I think the big one was when the CD Projekt Red moved over from Red Engine, which if you play The Witcher 3, I think is a fantastic engine. And
The Red
could do
Engine, yep.
most of what Unreal Engine could do, but that was a big get, I think, for the Unreal team. And they did go out and court them when they made that little demo of, The Witcher, saying, I can't remember the exact thing, but they did actually go court them, which is really, really cool. In saying all that, I am a big proponent of competition within the marketplace. I would like it if, say, Unity got back to where it, was, CryEngine got to where it was. I don't think the eTech engine is too far away, so I think they just need to be iterated on. The Forza Tech engine as well. I want to see what that can do. We got Forza Motorsport coming out soon. I think that game looks fantastic. I'm pretty sure they're going to be using that engine for Fable, so we're going to see it in an open world environment. We're going to see it in an RPG. I'm extremely interested to see where that goes. Look, I just don't want everyone to be using Unreal. I think that we need, other engines to be pushing Unreal. I mean, that's the reason Unreal got to where it is now, because they did invest so heavily into it, and I think other developers need to do the same thing.
Oh, honestly, I feel like people want games to come out as soon as possible, and if people have the tools to do that as quickly as possible, I personally don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, it's pretty successful. I understand the monopoly behind it, but that's I feel like it's neither here nor there because we're so hungry, aren't we? We just want more games all the time. So if it can
More
cut their
reason.
production,
Yeah.
pardon?
No, more reason. I agree with you. Unreal Engine
Yeah.
expedites the process of game making. Everybody knows that.
I couldn't care less if they're using what equipment they're using, as long as the game comes out and is good.
Agreed. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I think
But
the equipment's
my only
important.
point of
But how much does it actually?
double
Like,
entendre.
obviously, it matters if the game isn't good. But what I'm saying is, if they're successful, what's the problem? And then games are coming out, they look good, they feel good. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with
Yeah.
it. It always feels
Mhm.
good to feel good. But my thing is, uh,
Another double
I'm
entendre.
sorry. I blame Riskit. He put the heathen powers on me. But no, I think that's a salient point, as they would say. Unreal Engine, as we all know, Unreal it allows for creators to process these games much faster. We've had plenty of people say it. I've talked with 3-Bit about it. He works with it. He's spoken about it. Pixel Bit G, he's spoken about it. It just expedites that process, and it's a gorgeous engine, and it has games running smoothly. Typically, is there barely any major issues with Unreal Engine. You know what I mean? And there people might say, well, there was this, blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing is perfect, but Unreal Engine, by and large, being as great as it is not something that just happened. It's earned. And I would like for more developers to use that to get these games out. We already have a process now where we've been told AAA games are going to take 6 years and upwards to make now. Well, Unreal Engine 5 might cut into that and make it less than that time. Might make it 4, might make it 5. You know what I mean? With capable hands, with like Ninja Theory, for instance, or the Coalition. Yeah, so more people I think need, and it's already, as we all know too, something that students study in school to get into game development. It just makes perfect sense. Now, but I do get you guys' point. It shouldn't be the only thing. My only point of contention against it is to say, that's not for me to argue. That's not for me to argue. Well, I need to see Frost come back. That's not. I don't care about Frost. That's for them to do. That's for them to entice me and say, hey, this is worthy of you to support. This is worthy of this being a tool to use to make games. Not for me to argue. That's all.
That's absolutely a fact, Umbra. I agree.
And I think
Yep.
I think if anything, I think people forget this space is a creative space. And anything that enhances people's creativity and allows them to put more time into that portion of games. I mean, that's where incredible storytelling comes in.
Yeah, well,
That's where they can put their
you can
funds.
sort of take that from two sides. Then, if you have just a single engine within the industry, then that inhibits creativity, because
How does that inhibit creativity?
because there's no innovation of engines. Like, there could be AI improvements, there could be graphical improvements. Yes, UE5 has great improvements. At its core, what makes Unreal Engine 5 so good is its modularity, the base level of visual quality, and the ease of access. However, Unity could do exactly the same thing. And Unreal Engine 5 is just basically 1, 2, 3, and 4 pieced together and improved upon. If that was done by another developer, and that's creatively done by developers, so that's creativity there as well. That's creatively done by another developer or publisher, and competes with UE5. UE5 is going to push itself to do more, and that's how we got UE5. And Jedi agrees with me.
Yeah, no, competition is great.
it's
It's fantastic.
outside.
I don't think that one engine should exist. I don't. However, if it's going to help developers and help games come out, why not use it? Also, if studios have limited funds and they want to use those funds to the best of their ability, I feel like better stories and better games would come out, even if they used Unreal Engine 5.
Absolutely. It's no one's arguing it's a bad thing. No one's arguing that a UE5 is a bad thing for the industry or a bad engine.
I think the word monopoly has a bad connotation, and I don't think that they have a monopoly.
Well, monopoly does have a bad connotation because it is.
But I'll add this too, though, to say, just to add though to Riskit's counterpoint. You say that, well, that's how Unreal got to this, and it lacks innovation. It will lack innovation if everybody is making Unreal. I disagree.
Possibly.
Because well, possibly. Okay, well, possibly makes more sense. So I'll give you that if it's possibly. But if you have more people working on a specific common goal, you're going to get those innovations quicker, I would argue, than you would with people making different, improvements to other different engines. If they're all focused on Unreal, not that I'm arguing for every game to be that. I'm just saying I believe more should use it. By the way, that's all I'm saying. And also, I also argued that too to say because we are in the 9th gen, and very few games we've seen outside of, I would say, Hogwarts, Horizon Forbidden West. Some of these games, they don't look actually current, aka next gen.
Hogwarts does not look current gen. It's not graphically
Hogwarts looks
stunning.
pretty damn good to me, I think. You don't think it looks good?
No, it looks like a Ubisoft open world game.
What?
What?
Which is not
Yeah,
bad.
there are
Oh
other
my
engines. There are other
The
engines like
disrespect.
there are other
Pete, do you
engines
hold
like
on,
the
Pete, before you
IDOS.
go, do you agree with him on that about this what he just said? I know you don't agree with him on that, Pete. Tell me you don't.
It doesn't look the best. Let's be honest. Like it's not the best looking game.
I think Hogwarts. I think Hogwarts looks great.
See?
Yeah, I think Hogwarts looks great.
If that's the bar for graphical goodness, then I think
It doesn't look the best, but it looks great.
It looks nice.
I'll give it that.
Yeah,
but
for a massive open world game.
It's
like
not
that, I think
wowing
that
me.
they've done a fantastic
I
job.
didn't like
Yeah.
boot it up and go like, oh, like the first time I did with Witcher.
I did.
Like, the Witcher.
I definitely did.
I
I
definitely did when they were when
Mm.
they went over the train and they looked or they went into Hogwarts. It did wow me straight away. And look,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's art style, but it does feel very much like the
Mm.
Harry Potter world, and
It
I've got to
does.
give them kudos for that.
that's
yeah,
art-
look, there
that's
are
art
other engines
style,
like
though.
the Dawn engine that IDOS made. There's other engines like the Glacier engine that was used for Hitman 3. I think that engine is fantastic. That was one of the games when the Series X launched that really blew me away that I think they need to iterate on. I don't want them completely to focus on the Unreal Engine. I think that would lose, a little bit of, not so much creativity, but I think that the reason why Unreal Engine got to the level where it is now is because it was pushed by the other engines. I don't know what's going on with the EA engine at the moment. I don't know what's going on with Ubisoft's engine. I think that they just don't really have the money to be pushing that engine at the moment because of all the problems they're having in the background. That is disappointing because, usually when a generation launches, Ubisoft would launch an Assassin's Creed game that would blow people away. I don't think Valhalla did that, although it was a beautiful game. I think that, there was frame drops in it. There was screen tearing in it, all that kind of stuff. So I think that engine needs to be worked on a little bit. But like I said, I think Forza Tech engine is going to show up and it's going to show really, really well. I'm looking forward to see what Starfield can do with the Creation engine too. We know that they look at things a little bit differently to how other engines look at things, where they'll look at level of detail and how the NPCs work in the background and having a connected world. So they do look at engines a little bit differently to others. But in saying that, that Matrix demo that was made for Unreal Engine was
Spectacular.
stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
Just blew me away, and I don't think I've seen anything that has blown me away as much as that little demo.
That's what I'm
I
talking
get
about.
that it was only in 30, but it was absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about with these with Harry Potter. It hasn't blown me away. Like I don't think I've seen a game that's blown me away, but Diablo 4 looked pretty damn nice. I've got to say that game looks nice. But when you talk about engines, one that's not like completely
not even Dead Space, Remake,
oh,
maybe?
Dead Space blew me away. Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Definitely.
All right.
That's
the RE engine is also another fantastic engine.
Yeah, that's Frostbite, I believe. I believe Dead Space was the Frostbite engine.
Was it?
I'm pretty damn sure it was.
Let me look to
I
see.
don't know,
Hold on a
actually.
I am pretty sure it was the Frostbite engine. Yep, it was a Frostbite engine. Absolutely was. 110%.
Yeah, and that's the EA's proprietary engine, isn't it? See, what's going on with that? What's going on with Unity? So I get that no one really has the money that Epic has because of Steam. They just have so much money, and where they are lacking, they then buy software to build themselves up, like the MetaHuman project that you posted in Twitter, Umbra. That is just an amazing project. The level of detail that they have in faces these days, where they can just do, the digital representation of a face, film it in real time, and then transfer it into a software. It's just amazing. That program is absolutely fantastic. And, they bought that engine, to put into Unreal Engine 5 to boost, the character designs. So where they are lacking, they are looking to actively advance it, which I do like.
Yeah, look, but I'll also say as well that we need to move on to the next topic, because this wasn't actually a topic of this week's show. But there's some great engines out there. Frostbite's one. I mean, if you look at the IW engine, I think we're up to IW9 for Call of Duty. That was an iteration of the IdTech engine, and then was slowly built out and became what it is today. So that iterated and went a certain way. Yui,
I thought Decima was pretty nice.
Unreal, yeah, Decima's amazing. Yeah, that does look a PlayStation proprietary engine. That does look amazing as well. There's plenty of engines that look amazing. Some not so easy to use, some easier to use. But I mean, let me put it this way: UE5 is a good engine to look at for other developers if they decide that they want to take an engine into market to base what they're going to do with their engine on, because it is extremely modular. I mean, look at Frostbite. Frostbite's a pretty good example. Doesn't work so great in say like they had issues with it in Battlefield, right? So they're having issues with it in Battlefield, and it's not quite meeting the bar. But when it comes to a single player narrative over the shoulder game like Dead Space, it's absolutely nailing it, because they can focus all the engine's attention on graphics, and it's not so intensive, because you're walking down small hallways, etc., etc. So, different engines can do different things, but yeah, absolutely, I believe we need more engines in the market. I understand that it would be great to have, stop posting that in the chat, it's hard to concentrate. I believe that it would be a bad thing for the industry and gamers as a whole. Umbra doesn't believe that. He just wants games now with UE5. Let's move on, shall we? Before we do, please.
I want the best of the best. And Unreal Engine offers that for us as gamers.
Before we do, you should be the advertising marketing dude for it, like rolling into dev studios, just like Unreal.
Just to say one final point, if you haven't had a look at it, Senua's Saga posted an example of MetaHuman. Go have a look at it. It is spectacularly beautiful.
Yeah, that game is going to fail spectacular. No, I'm kidding. Moving on to the next one. Before we do, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share us out. We go live or semi-live or pre-recorded at 8 p.m. EST every Friday. We're here with Ham Solo. Welcome back to the show, buddy. So there's been a bit going on with the ABK deal again, as there always is, just about every week. How exciting. Yay.
Everyone hears a collective sigh.
However, I don't know if everyone remembers this, but going way back, I think it was a good 6 months ago, there was a subset of PlayStation gamers that decided to bring a lawsuit against Microsoft during this whole, I think it was just after the FTC decided to block the deal.
Just 10 degenerates.
Yeah, it was a pretty stupid thing to do. However, if you guys remember, they did use all of the FTC's arguments and actually threw in a couple of their own that seemed to be a little bit better than the FTC's arguments. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit like, ooh, that's a good argument. So, all the FTC stuff they threw in wasn't great. However, that case was just thrown out of court. And the quote from the judge was, while the plaintiffs allege that Microsoft might obtain the ability to make Activision's games exclusives, and they assert Microsoft would have an incentive to do so, they do not make any factual allegations that support the conclusory incentive assertion. Which basically means there's no proof that Microsoft would do this other than what ifs. He goes on to say, why would Microsoft make Call of Duty exclusive to its platforms, thus resulting in fewer games sold? What is it about the console market or PC games market and Microsoft's position in those markets that makes it plausible that there is a reasonable probability that Microsoft would take such steps. And there just really isn't. We've talked about this ad nauseum and talked about it to death. I thought it was pretty funny. These guys thought they were getting a payday, and what they were getting was thrown out of court, and now they're a laughingstock. I hope they're listening. Pete, what do you think about this when you saw it?
Yeah, look, it's very difficult for class action suits to win. And games, I think in the article that you posted, have had a pretty rough year when it comes to losing class action suits against, big companies. I would have thought that the Nintendo stick drift one would have gone better, but I think Nintendo have changed their terms and conditions that they've written in. And so if that one didn't win, then this one was. I didn't think this one was going to go forward anyway. I thought that it was a whole lot of nothing, but to get thrown out in court straight away like that by a judge just shows the nothing behind the argument. I think Sony's argument is even weaker than the gamer's argument, so I'm glad it got thrown out. I'm glad that it's not wasting the court's time and Microsoft's time, so they can actually focus on winning, the big deal up against Sony, against the FTC, putting their proposals forward for the CMA. And I don't know if anyone saw, but 6 people that, and I think they did it anonymously, wrote letters into the CMA stating that they are for the acquisition and it's not going to change anything. A lot of them were anonymous, but they were AAA developers and publishers, and they said that they can't foresee what's going to happen in the future, but they can't see it being an issue. So yeah, look, I think this is a whole lot of nothing. I'm glad it got thrown out. I think it was a joke to begin with.
Absolutely. Ham, have you been following these 10 gamers bringing out a lawsuit against Microsoft?
Yeah, I remember hearing about it a little while back, and I actually reported it on my channel earlier on Wednesday, the 22nd. I talked about this on my channel, and like in the article that I read off of thegamer.com, Judge Corley, which is the person that was like the judge of the case, said there was no appreciable danger of that of like Microsoft ever taking this and like making it only like for Call of Duty at least purposes, making it only for Microsoft, like when they could make $1 billion in 10 days if they continue to release it on all platforms.
So
And
Han,
it's
why would the judge say that for this particular case when it's a class action suit and not do the exact same thing for when Sony's putting that argument forward? I don't really see a difference between the two arguments.
I don't really exactly either, if I'm being honest, but I guess it just kind of hits different when it's a company suing compared to just people.
Absolutely, but it's exactly the same. That's what I was saying. They used exactly the same arguments. And one of the arguments that they actually used was the cloud argument, and they had worded it in a much better way than we had seen up until that point. I actually believe the FTC the EU then caught wind of that and then followed on with their cloud argument, which they've since backed off. But yeah, Pete, it's the FTC, so it hasn't gone to court yet. I really do believe I think it's almost foregone conclusion. If this thing lands in court, it's going to get thrown out in exactly the same spectacular fashion that this got thrown out. Cutie, have you been following this? Were you a part of the class action? Were you against the class action? What was your...
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, look, class actions are an interesting topic because I think they happen a lot more often than we think, and potentially, this has been brought to the surface to make Microsoft look bad. And look, I don't know if I don't know where these developers have come from or what studios, but I think it might just be a lot of smoke and really nothing. I don't think it's I'm glad that it got thrown out, and I think it's a little bit ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much like PlayStation's entire argument. Umbra, what do you think about the whole gamers getting thrown out of the court?
I thought it should have happened the moment it was processed. Like, yeah, get out of here. But whatever the case is, they made the right decision ultimately. To touch on the point where you all asked about, why did they do the same for Sony? It's kind of what Ham said, and I'll say it's more than that, right? It's a bit of them being this superpower, it's this corporation that's
Mm.
behind it. So they're going to push that issue. They have more clout to push that issue because they have lobbyists who want to
Exactly.
push it, right?
There's more money on the table with them.
Absolutely. On top of that, I'll also argue that, remember, it's a game of chess that they're trying to play with Microsoft. These regulators. See, people think they're regulators and think, well, like when people think of cops, well, they're cops, so they can't be lying, right? They can't be doing this or that or anything that's in improprieties rather. They can't be bad. No, they absolutely can. They can absolutely be corrupt. They can absolutely be bought off. You have the FTC, and I'm not arguing that they are bought off, but the fact that Lena Khan has so much negativity surrounding her from everybody pushing towards her direction, and from articles and everybody who used to work with her saying so. The reason why this is going forward like that is because they want a win. The FTC wants it, and when they did the sue, they sued Microsoft, as was pointed out by you a minute ago, Risk, when this case by the gamers was presented. That prevented the EU and the CMA from just going ahead and just saying, "All right, here you go. We agree with you, Microsoft. Your argument is sound. Go ahead and acquire them." That's the only reason why this is still going on, because one of them wants to be the first to try to get some real concessions to say, "We gotta win. We forced Microsoft to do this thing." That's what it comes down to. That's why they're not just dropping it. But you're right too. Also, Riskit. If it goes to court, and I think Pete, you said it too. Yeah, the judge will absolutely be like, "Nah," and that's why the FTC doesn't want that. They want to keep it in house to their own judiciary situation. They don't want to go outside of that to actual, adjudicated court. They don't want that. They really don't want that. And we've had many people who spoke on this situation that have said so, such as Hogue Law, as one notable name. And that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. But I'm happy this was thrown out. It was nonsense to begin with. And, our hooved brothers and sisters can go settle down somewhere now.
Where does I mean, sort of, where does PlayStation go when they don't sign a deal? Because our other topic was basically about PlayStation has lost control, and it was it was mentioned that he's not an attorney, actually, he's an analyst. Mueller stated that Microsoft's completely lost control of this whole thing. They've got no power within this deal now to affect anything, and they're sort of refusing to come to the table. Where does that leave PlayStation? I did hear someone the other day say that Xbox is too nice to cut them out. I really don't think it's got anything to do with being too nice. I think that Microsoft's made a lot of noise about bringing COD to more gamers, and especially about continuing to bring COD to PlayStation. Where does it leave PlayStation, though, in 5 years if they don't sign this deal? 5 years down the track. I mean, obviously, in the short term, Xbox is going to still allow COD to be on PlayStation. But if, in turn, something happens where they think it's going to be beneficial for them to bring it exclusively to Xbox, Nintendo, and PC and cut PlayStation out, maybe when PlayStation's on the back foot, where does that leave PlayStation? I mean, that's poor management.
I don't think that's
right?
going to happen, Riskit. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think Sony's whole play right now is to block the deal, and if they can't block the deal, to block it for as long as they possibly can and to extend the timeline so it doesn't get on Game Pass and it doesn't get on. But I don't think Xbox will ever cut PlayStation out of especially COD. I can see it for other franchises like Diablo, things like that, but I can't see it for COD personally, and I think Sony have thought about this. I think that they never thought that Microsoft was never going to put COD on their console anyway, and so their whole point at the moment, I believe, is just to push it back as far as they possibly can.
Yeah, well,
I think it is a matter of delay, right? I think it's a matter of that. I am also like you, Riz. I'm wondering where the hell does that leave PlayStation if they say, well, we're not going to sign, right? And try to, I wonder how that will work too. I think just at the end of the day, it's just stalling tactics, and once this is approved, they'll eventually just come to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it from way back. They're stalling, and one of the main reasons I believe they are stalling is so that they can come up with a competitor. They got 10 gas games in development, and they're obviously, you guarantee at least 3 of those are going to be shooters. And I would say,
I think the Jade Redmond game is a military shooter as well. Can't remember the
and
name
they
of the game now,
they
but-
did acquire a studio that was former Call of Duty developers, right? So it's almost guaranteed they're trying to build. I mean, it's obvious they're trying to build a Call of Duty competitor, but whether they'll be able to do it, but they need as much time as they can to make it the best that they can, so they can come out with something that does actually, compete. And there are plenty of games in the space that do compete with COD. Like, on a player base, maybe not, but there wouldn't be. There's a few that aren't far off. Look at Apex Legends. Look at Fortnite. Look at these. These are all shooters that compete for that space. So and they are free to play. Whereas COD is not free to play. But maybe PlayStation's free to play games will be $70 too. Anyway, we should probably move on to the next topic.
Free to play $70.
Haven Studio is the team that is making that game. I think that there are ex-COD developers on that studio as well, and they are making a military type shooter that Sony has acquired now.
Theirs is going to be titled FF2P. Feel free to pay.
We'll move on to the next topic. Before we do, please hit the like button. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button. We go live every second week at 8 p.m. EST Friday, and we pre-record the other weeks at a non-disclosed time in a secret bunker whilst we all sit. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. Resident Evil.
Somebody get me out of here.
Too late.
Resident Evil 4. There's a few things around Resident Evil 4 that are really sort of interesting to talk about. It seems to be something that's happening in the industry more and more. We're getting remakes, remasters. We're getting sequels. We're not seeing a lot of developers take big risks with their IP. That's one thing. And when Resident Evil's getting 10 out of 10s and being called an absolute masterpiece, which I believe it. I played 2. I thought that was a masterpiece.
Yeah, you were excited to play the beta. I remember that right before our show.
Yeah. And I loved it. It's fucking hard, but I loved it. It's a great beta. I think the game's going to be great. I can believe it's a 10 out of 10. What's bugging me is that it got a 10 out of 10 a little bit. And there's a few things around this that I sort of want to talk about, and I'll try to get them all into the topic. But what's initially bugging me right now is that it got a 10 out of 10. I don't want any game to fail. Sort of a little bit want remakes to fail, but they're not at the moment. Now, I believe that remakes are a good thing when you sprinkle them sparsely throughout new IP. I've never been excited for a remaster. As far as I'm concerned, remasters I just not interested in remasters at all. I'm especially not interested when developers, publishers, platform holders decide to remaster a game and then call it a remake. I don't appreciate that shit. That bothers me greatly. And yes, I am talking about The Last of Us.
I was just about to say, wait a minute, didn't you buy The Last of Us remastered even with me protesting?
Yeah, I bought it. Yep. Absolutely. I'm a gamer.
Ashamed of you.
I'm a gamer.
No, you are a pony. That's what you are.
I play games. But I'm never excited for remaster. Even if the graphical update to that game was like sensational. Like it was beautiful. Like absolutely beautiful. It was an amazing graphical update, but more needs to be done to a game for a game to be called a remake than a graphical update. And speaking to a developer, we found out that basically the only thing that was built from the ground up with that game was the cutscenes, because they were now in-engine as opposed to a separate thing that was patched in. But more than that, it seems to be a bit of a thing for this generation where we're just getting a lot of remakes. Developers aren't taking risks on new IP. And I believe that really the only new IP that we've seen this generation would be indie developers, which they're always taking risks on IP, which is great, and we need them to, because that's usually where great things come from. and Forspoken. Now, I can't think of any other brand new IP. Now, when you think about new IP, Gotham Knights isn't...
Starfield.
Yeah, but it's not
Redfall.
released. It's not released. We haven't got those yet. So
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush, that's a new IP. Absolutely. I would argue that that is possibly a AA sort of
Ion Life.
indie style game. Again, AA indie style game. What's a big AAA? Gotham Knights can't be it, and Harry Potter can't be it, because those are pulling from IPs that have massive fan bases already. So what else have we got that's brand new IP?
What was that game that was released very early on the Sony console? It was already they were a twix stick shooter that I forget the name of the game. It was very high intensity, released very early on in the PlayStation 5 generation. I can't remember.
It sounds
So
like one of those
you're
games
asking-
that Jim Ryan loves, the high intensity ones. He's into the way he holds that
Like
controller.
blow into the controller intensely.
Returnal.
That's a AA, right? Though.
Yeah, I
Was it
guess. Yeah, it's got a AAA feel, but I guess that's still AA,
it
right?
wasn't. No, it's a AAA game. It had a
Was it?
AAA game budget.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me ask you.
Look, I
so-
think you could be right, Riskit. Like, if
I
you
like
look
Scarlet
at last generation,
Nexus.
if you look at games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, if you go back a little bit further, I think that's what made Sony so great, because they were putting out and they were taking risks, and the risks they took weren't very strategic. Like, the games that these studios had made in the past were mildly successful, but they took a risk. They made a brand new IP, and I think that, say, Ghost of Tsushima did an amazing job, and that IP will now live on and thrive because they took that initial chance. I forget the name of the game, that zombie game that didn't rate very well on Metacritic.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Forspoken.
Yeah,
Stray.
Atomic Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Forspoken is the one that I mentioned. That's the only one that would be AAA, by AAA, technically done by AAA developers.
Oh, technically. Okay.
Ghostwire
Yeah.
Tokyo.
So
there's
Ghostwire Tokyo,
Atlas.
Starfield.
Atlas
hasn't released yet. Starfield hasn't released yet.
I know that a lot of
No,
them
I
haven't
know,
released
but
yet,
it's
but
coming
there's a
this year.
reason for that. I mean, COVID has pushed back most of these games a year to 2 years, so although they should have been released. But I take your point, Riskit. I think that a lot of the bigger studios are working on just remakes and remasters because it is incredibly expensive to make a AAA game at the moment. It just is, and you're taking a big risk if you're putting out a brand new IP, something that doesn't have nostalgia linked to it, something that doesn't have an existing IP's name linked to it. It's an incredibly big risk, and it can literally bankrupt your studios. So I think the creativity aspect of making a new IP is kind of waning a little bit. I think that that's unfortunate. In saying that, some of the remakes that we've gotten, like Demon Souls, have done incredibly well and have been quite successful. I think Resident Evil showed that if Resident Evil 2 and 3 showed if you make a really good remaster, not a remake, or not a remaster, a remake, then it can be incredibly successful, and it can be
Yeah, but that's my point.
Gamers will really take to it.
I mean, that's my point. Is that what we're going to see? Are we going to see sequels and remakes? Going forward. Umbra, you were gonna jump in.
I think there's a place for both.
Yeah, there's definitely a place for both. There's definitely a place for both. Yeah.
I was saying, so your question basically is, what new AAA games are we getting? Basically, what new IP?
Not are we getting, but have we gotten? We haven't gotten a whole lot.
Yeah, that's true. No argument there.
Yeah, stuff that we're getting. There's absolutely games coming down the pipeline, but most of them that we know about, and I would say throw sequels into this as well. Most of them that we know about are coming from Xbox. I haven't really seen new.
They've been
IPs.
much more transparent, to be fair, too. So we'll probably be seeing something from Sony by the time around E3. But just to say, Wild Hearts is one, isn't it?
That's
Wild
true.
Hearts we've gotten. Yeah,
That is true. That's yeah.
Callisto Protocol.
yeah. Callisto.
Biomutant.
That's not true.
Biomutant, I don't think is AAA, but Yeah, I mean it has been sparingly, but it has been sparingly as far as how many we've gotten so far. But I know a lot is to come, so I'm not even worried about it. The basic issue is like what Pete pointed out, where they were delayed because of the COVID situation, and that's why Sony has been so affected, even though it didn't seem like it. But that's why they couldn't get their showcases out like people wanted, and people wondering where are they at with their new games and showcasing what they got coming, instead of just Spider-Man and Wolverine in 2024 or 25.
Because they got no
Uh,
games, dude.
PlayStation has no games. You heard it here first. Yeah, so I think they're coming. Obviously, I'm not. I guess the case of it us not having it just yet is valid, but I don't think it's something to worry about. Just in any case. So,
I
but
would rather play Bioshock than play Atomic Heart, a game that it's similar, and I would rather play Dead Space than Callisto Protocol. So I think it's how the game is made as well. They can get, like they can make games that are new IPs, but they also have to, be good games. And I think in both those cases they fell away a little bit.
I think just to add to that, my thing is,
Yeah.
because I guess some of the question is, do we want more remasters or whatever, right?
No
So,
remasters, no.
like you said, sparingly. I agree with that 100%. Do it here and there. That not every game needs to be remastered like Sony is doing, for instance, right? Or remade, or whatever the case you want to call it that they're doing. But there are some games that absolutely legendary series that I would not have any issue with having a remake or a remaster. But just to say too, we can say that now in hindsight about the games you mentioned, Pete. But if Callisto Protocol would have actually been
Good.
superb,
Mhm.
yeah, that argument would have fell flat, right? So that's the issue. Is just that they just weren't that great comparatively.
I
Same
I
with Atomic Heart.
personally, I think a lot of gamers the average gamer is what, 32, 35 years old. I think all of you enjoy seeing, your beloved stories that you grew up playing remastered with today's technology. And I would argue that there are some incredible stories that do deserve today's technology and to be shown in that light. So I don't it doesn't worry me that there aren't that many like unique AAA IPs coming out. It really doesn't, because I'm
Y-
having fun.
I think
To
there's
kind
plenty of
of jump
unique
on top
AAA
of
IPs coming out.
DoomCutie's point on that, like I'm not super mad to see all these sequels to game where they're reusing a lot of assets or remasters to make a game look good again, or a remake to put a few more new things into a game that wasn't quite there before. But when it comes to making a new IP, as you were saying, like you're seeing a lot of like not so risky games that came out as of late. So when I say that, I mean like something like Hi-Fi Rush or like High on Life, where it's like they're good, but they're not like they nobody broke the bank to make those games. Like Forspoken or something like that, where it was like reportedly $100 million that they spent to make that game, which is wild. It's scary. Think about it. I mean, like the last time we started seeing a ton of just new IP left and right was what, like
360.
I want to say like I want to say like 7th or 8th gen.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
So like with like
PS4 did pretty good with
the PS4 did all
Bloodborne.
right.
Yeah,
But we're talking about what we're talking
every game.
about right now is
Bioshock, Mass
triple
Effect.
A big. I hear you. Just a second, bud. What we're talking about right now is big triple A bangers, huge triple A new IP bangers. In comparison to yesterday to now, it has slowed down tremendously.
It's a worrying
And
trend.
it's because of It's because of cost. It's because of how long it takes to make these things. And a big piece that nobody really likes to talk about that much is reviews and how it is perceived to the community. Because now, more than ever, a game can be garbage in a few months. A massive game that took years to make could be just tossed to the side after a couple months. Something that we couldn't do as a community of gamers in the past, we can do now. So it makes it super scary for a developer, whether they be a new developer or a seasoned team like EA, to be willing, although that they're rich and they got lots of money, they're still terrified to drop 50 to 100 to 150 million dollars on something that is just
It may fail. Completely fail.
yeah. Something that could be the next Forspoken, possibly.
And you can fail big with game development.
CD Projekt Red was dumb lucky with what ended up happening to them. How they bounced back, ended up having a TV show. Now they got all this extra support, and they got a DLC coming
just on pre-orders,
but see, there was so much hype around it, and I mean that game was hyped for literally years.
It deserved that hype after The Witcher 3, but
I would argue that perhaps AAA game studios just aren't as good at storytelling or making interesting games.
I don't believe that.
No,
There's
I
just
don't
too many
believe that
people
as
willing to
well.
write a
Yeah.
story to believe that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it's more money than anything
It's
else.
absolutely 110%
Then why
money.
isn't it happening?
Absolutely 110%
Because they're
money.
scared.
It's risk.
They're
You're
scared.
you're risking hundreds of millions of dollars on something that could get
You're risking it for the biscuit.
that could bring in, like, look at the sales from Returnal. Returnal
You all
didn't
better put
cost
some tomatoes in the chat for that one right there.
Returnal didn't cost.
No, but I don't understand. Like,
So I'm explaining it. So
they've been through
Returnal
time
didn't.
and time again.
Yep, so I'm explaining it. So Returnal didn't cost $100 million. But imagine that game cost $100 million. And Returnal is not a bad game. Returnal's actually a really good game. Like, I really enjoyed playing Returnal. But that game only sold 500,000 copies. If you had put $100 million into that game and it was miles ahead of Forspoken, that would have foreclosed your studio. So Housemarque, which is the studio that made Returnal, would have closed down. They wouldn't have been able to take that loss, and PlayStation would never have bought it. So that studio then would have been dead. That would have been it, right? But they didn't spend that amount of money. They were good in the way that they developed the game, and yeah, they only sold 500,000 copies initially, but the game was good, and they didn't break the bank making it. Right, so new IPs can be an extremely costly thing to do for a. You got to think about it like this, right? So if you're doing a new IP, you've got to storyboard it. Your pre-development is going to take you like minimum a year. That's minimum, usually 2.
That's
right?
a great point. That's a great point, and
So-
that won't happen if you're making an existing IP.
Yeah, so if you're making a sequel, you've still got to storyboard it. But you've got savings elsewhere, right? You've got all your assets that you can throw back in. You can juice them up. There's time saved there. If you're doing a remake, you've already got your story sort of laid out. You might have to do a little bit of storyboarding, but it ain't going to take you 2 years. All these things cost a lot of money. So remakes, remasters, and sequels will save a studio a shit ton of money in development. And that, I agree. I mean, Ham said it all. Like, that is exactly why we are not seeing new IPs, and it's a worrying trend for me personally.
I
Because
think we're gonna.
you go back to the 360 days, and we were just getting new IP and good IPs, like
will we
good.
see that? Will we see that?
I don't
again?
think so.
BioShock.
Personally,
the way
I
we're
think-
gonna start seeing
Hold
the way
on.
we're gonna start seeing
BioShock.
games come
Hold on.
out now, before they become AAA, we're gonna start seeing things like Senua probably happen a lot more often, where a game starts out AA and works its way
To
to
AAA.
AAA. We're
Yeah.
probably not going to see a whole lot of games just, bam, we're AAA right off the back, because they're going to be scared to invest
I don't think it's
that
fear.
much money. I think that's probably a smart business idea.
Cutie.
I think it's cognitive dissonance. I really think that these studios have people who are older, and I feel like the newer indie studios that do take risks. We're talking about Hi-Fi Rush, Cult of the Lamb, like really, really great storytelling. Just that they're just not, like you say. I know you're saying that they won't take risks because of money, but I just don't think they want to as well. Like I think if you just had one person or a few people within those companies that pushed it, I just look, I can't accept that it's because they're scared, because it's not. They just don't want to.
So when you said Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks is one of the biggest, oldest studios in the business and has one of the biggest legends in the business. He just left, unfortunately, but Shinji Mikami. And he was all for the new ideas. So, I mean, that doesn't really hold water,
Yeah, but
Cutie, at
he's
all. What you're saying is that studios don't have...
he's
Yep, so let me finish. So what you're saying is that studios don't have the talent within them to write good stories. That just
no.
doesn't hold
I
water.
don't think that no. Cognitive dissonance and talent are two completely different things. They don't want to. They like to make games that they like to make, and it's got nothing to do with fear. They're doing what they've always done. There's a difference. There's very talented people that are very intelligent and are good at what they do, but that's all they can do. And
We just argued the different point just 5 minutes ago, but regardless, will we get another generation like the 360 where we got games like BioShock, Mass Effect, Red Dead Redemption, the Batman Arkham series again? I just don't know. I think that they are trying, especially Bethesda with Starfield.
I totally think it could happen again.
Redfall, yeah,
Bethesda's
Deathloop.
definitely.
I think that they're really pushing the industry forward, which is just fantastic to see. And I think one of the reasons why Microsoft acquired them as well, they could see what they were coming up with in the background. You know, Hi-Fi Rush, another example. So hopefully the industry does take their lead. And in saying that, a couple of weeks ago, I was praising, EA for bringing back Dead Space, bringing back single-player games, because I thought the remakes had done so well. I think Resident Evil 2, like I said before, showed how well a remake can, if it's done well, how successful it can be. And Cutie, to your point, that nostalgia factor is a very big thing. Yeah, we are getting older as gamers now, and we do want to see like our games that we loved growing up be pushed into with the new technology, and and that new technology being taken advantage of. And we look at a lot of these games through rose-colored glasses, where we think that they were amazing because we played them 10, 15 years ago. You actually go back and play them now, they're very, very difficult to play. So I don't mind seeing a couple of them using, the technology of the day and pushing the games forward.
But I personally would count Hogwarts Legacy as a new IP. I would, simply because the other Harry Potter games, they weren't open world. They were a fixed story. And
if there's other Harry Potter games, then it's not a new IP.
yeah, but it's not. But that was made by Warner Brothers. Well, yeah, Warner Brothers was the publisher. But what I am saying is that it is completely different. It's on a completely different level. And I waited for this game for so long.
Yeah, you might like the game, and I like Dead Space. I love Dead Space, love the Dead Space remake, but that doesn't make it a new IP.
No. They didn't slap a remake on.
It is
I
as
didn't play
close
as
to
Harry
new
Potter.
IP as you can be without
I wasn't
exactly
playing as
being
Harry
new.
Potter.
Yeah, I would consider Hogwarts to be new. I mean, yeah, it's based off an existing IP, but it's not something like.
Well, that doesn't make it new. That doesn't make it new. That by definition, it is not new IP. It's arguable. It's an arguable point.
I think it's just.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just semantics. It's definitely a new IP. It never existed, but yeah, it's based in a world that already existed from an IP.
Yeah. So when it comes to
semantics,
well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, and again, it's not new IP, and the reason why it's less risky, because new IP, completely new IP, is risky, right? Because there's no lore, there's no backstory, there's no fan base, there's nothing for you to go off, but only what you create. So you create your own world, you create your own lore, and as I was saying before, like you need to storyboard that shit. For if it's like, for instance, Starfield, you would need to storyboard the fuck out of that for at least like 2 years. We know it. He was saying it took over 10 years, possibly 20 years to create. He might have been storyboarding that for like, 5 or 6 of those years. Like that's when you're creating a big game. So, I mean, what I'm saying is I understand the reason why we're not getting these new IPs left, right, and center like we used to in the 360 days. I think Ham, you're dead on. Like that was bang on, dude. Like they're going to start doing games where they start with AAA, like Hellblade, and then they start with AA, and then they move to AAA like later on. If that game's successful, that's probably a smart way to do it. I wouldn't mind seeing new IP like that. That would be
and I think we're seeing that risk. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, The Lies of P, Flintlock, those type of games, and I think that they can, then grow into AAA IPs.
Hellblade. Hellblade is a prime example. That was
I just use that as an example.
Hellblade is like the Hellblade is like the it's like the walkthrough guide. Hellblade is like the walkthrough guide of how to go from AA and meh, and then I mean obviously we still have to play it to know for sure if this like combat's better, but we already know that like the visuals are gonna be in.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one, the visuals were insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was good. But like, it was a really good game. It was just lacking in areas.
So much this they paid so much for other stuff this time. Well, the combat was fine last time, but you could tell that it was that it could have been better.
It was limited.
Like, you can tell when you're playing it, like, oh, this is kind of repetitive a little bit. This could be better, but it's fun. It's really fun.
A game about mental illness, where a lot of feeling
story was the best part. 100%.
Has to be played with headphones on. The hearing voices in the back of your head, just like say a schizophrenic would. Yeah, I thought it was just.
Wait, hang on a minute.
And who would have thought a game like
it's
that?
It's about mental illness. I thought that was just a normal game. That's what goes on in my head like every day. Okay.
Dude, when you're walking in the water late in the game, when you're walking in the water and it's like pitch black and you got the headphones on and they're like talking in your ear, it's like close towards the near. Oh my god, that part was extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it is. So it was the self-doubt, the the whole lot, the anxiety. It created such a really good atmosphere. Like was the ambiance. That could be a new word. We'll throw a caveat.
Remember, don't die too many times, or else you'll have to start from scratch, and you were scared. The entire
that actually
game.
Got me. I thought I was fooled by that. I'm like, okay,
I was too.
Yeah, they got me.
Mm-hmm.
I lived.
I was like, man, my arm kind of dark right now.
Looking mad melanated right now. Looking mad melanated.
Yeah, mad is right.
Yeah, look, I do want to move on to the next topic, but there's a couple of things within this topic, and we've brought this up before in regards to remakes and Resident Evil 4 getting 10 out of 10s, which is fantastic. And I was buying Resident Evil like day one. After I played 2, I don't care, man. It's a great. Some remakes are amazing, like they really, really are. And that is a good thing. No remaster I've ever played has been amazing. So remasters can fuck off.
10 out of 10 is wild to me. I don't know why why it's such a frequent score. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean the RE engine and Capcom are just doing a great job, man. To be honest. But look, I do want to move on inside this topic to 2 things. Look, it runs better on the Xbox. There's a dead zone issue with the sticks, but when it comes to resolution, it's got a better resolution. And frames per second wise, it actually moves better frames per second from what we have seen so far on the demo. Just the demo, and those things can be tidied up. It may run a lock 60. I wouldn't doubt it for the RE engine. But at the moment, it's running better on Xbox. It has not got a single review, not a single review on PC or Xbox. All the reviews are on PlayStation 5. Now, I understand, we've had this conversation before. I really do understand that developers sometimes just give out that particular copy of it. But my question is, why is every single review on PlayStation. That doesn't fill me with confidence as an Xbox player had I not already seen a demo and know that it runs better. The dead zone issue might not have been patched or fixed before I buy the game. So that's an issue for me. That's worrisome. Why are we seeing this trend? It happens quite often where Xbox games and PC games, that are on PS5, the multiplats, are not being reviewed on evenly spread throughout each platform. It just sort of shows PlayStation's market dominance for one. And for two, I just think it's really poorly done if a developer's just handing out copies for a PlayStation 5. It pisses me off, man. Ham, does it bother you at all?
The code is ready.
It confuses me. Like, I don't understand how that like slides by, and that's fine with either Xbox or said publisher that is trying to sell the game on their console. Like, wouldn't you ideally want those, to be at least parity with the other console? When it comes to like review numbers, or even if, like, let's say PlayStation has like 100 reviews, wouldn't you at least like to say that you got like 50 or 60, or by God, even 40? I mean, come on. Like, in my opinion, it's just like someone's either being bullish or lazy, and I'm not sure who to blame in this situation, because I feel like if I'm working at this store and my rival store is
Ryan McCaffrey haven't lived that down yet. After he did that, it didn't praise Sony for a Final Fantasy remake.
Does it matter for a game like Resident Evil, but Umbra? Because we already pretty much know what we're getting. We've got the demo, that chainsaw demo, which a lot of people have played. I've played it. So, you know, the kind of proof is in the pudding. You can get hands-on for the game. I guess it'll be a little bit different for a brand new IP if you don't know what you're getting. But say with a game like Resident Evil, most people have played it in the past, at least seen footage of it. There's also that, you know, demo that I was speaking about.
Yeah, it being a known commodity, that definitely helps. I mean, you know, you're going to get quality too because it's Capcom. They're not going to
That helps, but it doesn't steer away from the issue.
Yeah,
True.
which is the
issue
overarching issue.
is
Yeah.
The issue is like it seems like either Capcom was like, oh, we're only dealing with PlayStation, or I don't know what, Steam missed the phone call. What did they miss the meeting? Like what? How does something like this happen without you just immediately thinking, oh, the popular one got it this time? Instead of thinking about everybody, they just thought about this corner.
And it's a regular occurrence. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just the standard of case that we're in nowadays anyway. And that's why we had a debate, well, not a debate, where we were talking about first party having to step up for Xbox in case of showcasing not only visuals, but the best of the best when it comes to how a game runs and everything else, and using the tools that everybody keeps wondering where they're at. You know, so yeah, you're right. It's a matter of popularity, and we're going to see more of it, unfortunately, until Xbox can make things a bit more even.
Yeah, the media
Xbox can
bias
grow
is
in
really
popularity, and they still don't care. Xbox can grow in popularity, and it's still some sort of a weird bias. It's just weird to me.
Yeah. I agree.
Could it be a case of Capcom thinking that it's going to sell more on PlayStation, and so they will promote, you know, more time for that? I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, up until literally last night? Oh no, yesterday. So yesterday, my time, I was looking for Resident Evil 4 reviews on Series X, and there was none. And I don't think on Metacritic there is still any Resident Evil 4. I'm just looking now, reviews for Series X. So whether there's some on PS5, I don't know. It's just a weird thing to see. You know, it happen over and over again, where it's not just Xbox that gets shunned; it's the PC market also. I'm a little bit tired of seeing it, to be honest. I want to see a review for the platform that I prefer, and I don't think that's a lot to really ask for. To be fair.
No, it's not a lot to ask for. I mean, like I said, if there are like 30 or 50 on one and 0, like how much are on the PlayStation one right now?
On the
it's usually
PlayStation,
double, triple, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers for this game, but
so there's 100 positive. There's 102 reviews.
wow.
There's 102 and 0 for the Xbox. You said
there's
21
19 for the
now.
Xbox now, but that
okay,
was
there's 21.
Yeah.
That's basically only been in the last, I think, 12 or so hours, Ham. So up until then, yeah, there was 0 for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they just put
that's
these
huge.
It's just pitiful, in my opinion. It's just pitiful.
Yeah, and it's
Anyway, okay, going back to the actual game, I know this is an issue, but did anyone play that chainsaw demo? And can it
I
be
did.
beaten? Because I played it, but I keep getting my butt kicked by that chainsaw
Really?
guy in the village where there's like 1 million people there.
yeah, Pete's not very good at games. That's the.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a quick way to beat it now. You're going to need to practice your running skills in video games. And I'm telling you this for a reason. Because I
want to kill him.
You will kill them. This is the thing. And I did the same thing in Wolong as well. Like when I need to jet, I can jet and I cannot be touched for a long time. And that's what you need to do for a little bit. And when you get into that town,
You're gonna run.
like in a big circle, run in a massive circle and have everybody chase you. And during that time, I mean, maybe even die a few times just trying to figure out where like ammo and stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
I definitely
I only
used the
died
cow.
twice, and
Oh, wow.
and then I ran. because what I do in a lot of video games, what I like to do is I like to get all the enemies just kind of bunched up. I learned it from Borderlands.
Mhm.
You get all the enemies bunched up and then you throw a grenade. Or like in Resident Evil's case, you can shoot them in the knee and do a suplex to them, or shoot them in the head and roundhouse kick them.
How do you do a suplex instead of doing a kick? Because see, I found that when you do the suplex, it kills them instantly, but when you do that kick, it doesn't a lot of the
Kneecap
time.
'em.
It does actually. It does like almost every time. What you need to do is, like I said, get them all bunched up, and then when they're coming at you, shoot one in the head, and then let that and then let a few other people come forward and do the roundhouse kick, and I'll knock out. I knocked out like 7 people at once and
Yeah,
killed them all,
that
and
is
was just
cool.
picking up ammo.
Man,
So,
they're doing
like,
That
really
flash
good.
grenade
Just try to get them
really
funneled
comes-
down a
helps.
hallway.
Mhm.
Just try to get them
Yeah.
funneled, and then you should be good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
I-
kind of came to the conclusion, which is obviously the wrong conclusion, that you weren't actually able to do it. I thought that you were meant to die.
No, I mean,
I got to go
that's-
back into it.
that's what I told you. I didn't want you to feel bad, but you know, I did beat it first go, so but I didn't want to say that because no, that's bullshit. I haven't beat it yet. I played it and I was enjoying it. I was like, all right, but it's a demo, and I was like, all right, I don't want to spend too much time fucking around on this demo because there's too much to
It's
play.
a 15-minute demo.
Yeah.
What are
I
y'all
played
doing?
it, got through the. This is the thing. This is the thing. I played it, got to the village. I think I went there twice. I didn't want to go through that same bullshit at the start again. So I was like, all right, and I'm probably going to have to go through it in the game again. So I'm like, I know what I'm like. If I've got to do something, this is why I'm not very good with roguelites, because if I've got to do something more than 3 times, I'm like, fuck you then. I'm not doing this. Unless it's a skill thing, like, and I've got to just get better at the game, which I'll do in the game, but I'm not doing that shit in a demo. I will play the game and I'll kick its ass when I get there. But I'm not redoing it or figuring it out. I'll figure it out when the game comes out. Because at the minute, I haven't even touched Atomic Heart. And I need to get onto that. And I've still got to get through Harry Potter, which is probably one of the worst games I've ever played. Ubisoft clone, just
You know you don't believe that.
money grabbed, like apps. I was waiting to see if Cutie was back. I figured if I said some slander towards Harry Potter, she would.
All right, you can trigger me all you want. That's fine.
She is back.
I'm
Look,
back again.
it does suck that they don't look after the Xbox reviews like they do with the PlayStation. It's something that I think I'm going to continually call out until someone listens, and that'll probably be in another 5 to 6 years when Xbox is the market leader, and I won't have to call it out again. So, pointless exercise, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to move on to the next topic because we are starting to really push the time out here. This is something that I think, Umbra, you sort of noticed, and I don't think you sort of got where I was going with it, but if you are a Fortnite player, I know Umbra's not, and he wasn't super keen on the topic, so I'll probably go to you first. But this sort of proves, exactly what Xbox has been saying, that there isn't parity throughout the industry. PlayStation is the market leader. It is something that sort of needs to be leveled out. There needs to be a more even playing field. And it also goes to show like what PlayStation does with a lot of the games that are third party, which is money hat. Fortnite gets an exclusive bundle. Now, it's only an exclusive bundle. It's a small thing. This is not something that Xbox hasn't done, but hasn't done for a while. And it just sort of goes to show that, like, if you want to, PlayStation have this thing where it's played best on PlayStation because you get this, and this. I don't know. I'm a little bit tired of seeing this, and I think a lot of people's responses is, why doesn't Xbox do this? Why doesn't Xbox do it? And my response is, why should a group of gamers on a platform get more content than another group of gamers? And I'm sort of starting to get to a point, and I don't want to be. I'm not that guy that's like. So with COD, I wasn't like, yes, make it exclusive just to fuck the PlayStation gamers. That wasn't me. I'm not going to lie and say that like it wouldn't have made me chuckle a little bit just because of how dickish they can be. But I am going to say, like, it doesn't bother me if another group of people who play on a different platform are getting the same content as me. I like this idea of everyone should be able to play everything if it's third party, and and they should all get the same experience, and that we don't quite often, because PlayStation's willing to throw out like a tiny little bag of money to a developer. It bothers me, man. I'm a little bit sick of it because I don't want to play Fortnite on my fucking PlayStation. I've got a PS5. I want to play it on Xbox. That's where I prefer to play, and I don't want to be gate-kept and blocked from having content. Cutie, I know that you're a Fortnite player, and that you do play mostly, predominantly, I believe, Fortnite on Xbox. Does this annoy you that you can't have access to this bundle?
Not really. I don't think it diminishes my experience at all. It's not enough to make me want to change. I interchange between playing on Xbox and playing on computer, PC. So yeah, I changed woman. I'm a changed woman. Honestly, mouse and keyboard, elite. Honestly, it's yeah. If you haven't done it, have you ever played a shooter? You know what I mean? I would definitely recommend it.
It's for people that can't shoot with a controller. You know.
Oh what? Come on, Mr. Aim Assist over here. Yeah, right.
I have played it with mouse and keyboard actually, because you can bump your mouse and keyboard into your. I don't know if you bump it into the
yeah,
Xbox,
you can.
Yeah, and it runs. It goes pretty well, but it just doesn't feel right. There's no vibration. I like when things vibrate.
You like vibrations.
So it just doesn't feel right. It feels a little bit dirty in a bad way. So
dirty.
I get what you're saying, and really there is accuracy in mouse and keyboard guys. Like we know they have an advantage over us poor console peasants, but it just
but it doesn't bother me that there's something exclusive on another platform. And look, and if it entices me, I'll go play it over there. It's not a big deal. I think everyone should play regardless. But yeah, it has to be something major though. Major.
You mean like a mission?
I don't personally like it. Just
like a mission in Hogwarts. Yep. But that's only because it's only because the wizarding world is a precious world to me. It means something.
So because it matters to you, it matters, eh?
The worst thing about the Hogwarts one is the door's there to actually go enter it, and then you can't do it.
Because it will be added later.
Been stolen away from you.
Yeah.
No, apparently they're allowed to add it at a later date.
They are, but no one will come back and play it for just a mission. I don't see many people coming back to it. So, Umbra, you won't?
It's not something that bothered me enough once you play Hogwarts. It's like, that little mission is not going to hurt me, but it's just dumb at the end of the day, and I don't care for that type of stuff. Call of Duty didn't really affect me when a lot of that happened, though I can imagine those who did play it being pissed because you missed out on like complete modes, I believe, at a point.
Well, and it's pay to win, really, because they get access to the beta that some things carry over, not progress, but some things do carry over to the next
items and such.
Yeah.
Same thing with Destiny, where you would miss out on complete strikes on Xbox that were only on PlayStation. Things like that bother me. Things like this, where it's just a cosmetic bundle, don't particularly bother me because, look, the less things that they put in the store to get money out of me, probably the better, because I've given them enough money. In saying that, Xbox put Master Chief on the PlayStation console, so you can play as Master Chief on Fortnite on PlayStation. I thought that was pretty nice of them. So things like that do feel a little bit grubby.
And that feels a little bit grubby to me. Ham, does this bother you at all? I mean, I know that you play on all platforms. You don't subscribe. Well, you do subscribe probably to Game Pass, but you don't. I don't think you see yourself as an Xbox like only guy. I think you sort of see yourself as an anywhere gamer. Would that be correct?
No.
No. Oh shit.
No, that wouldn't be correct.
Oh shit.
Although I have the ability to play games of all sorts, and I mean, I have a PlayStation 5, I have a Switch and 360 and yada yada. I have like 25 consoles. But like,
is that all?
But every day, like it's a religion, I'm playing my Series X every day. I can't say that about not any other console in
No,
this house.
I know that. I seen you. I've been watching you. But
Every breath you
I don't know what that
take,
means, but okay.
every move you
Um,
make.
so we've just muted Umbra so no
I'll
one
be
else can hear him.
watching you.
But look, I guess what I'm saying is you're fairly moderate when it comes to, I think, your opinions. And you're very even-handed.
Oh yeah, when my opinions, I'm not gonna BS. I'm gonna be pissed when I need to be pissed at Xbox. Which, I mean, the way I look at Xbox is like my favorite college football team, Nebraska. Like I love Nebraska. Nebraska is my squad and whatnot. But like, when they have a bad season, I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very passionate about like what the F are we doing, coach? Why are we running it on 3rd and 12? What's happening here? Like I'm very on top of them like that.
Mhm.
As for Sony, something that is, like what people would say like the other guys or whatever. I look at Sony like I look at like most like in the NBA. I don't really like when I look at NBA, I don't really have a team there. So I look at the Sony like I look at Sony like it's the NBA. Like you guys are dope. I love you. I grew up with you, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
for Xbox, I'm like, I need you guys to do something. Like that's where I'm at with Xbox.
I can feel you on that. Actually, I I do sort of feel the same way. But I think if you call them out fairly and evenly on both sides, that's fine. I will say one thing: we don't call it football over here on this show. We call it handball because it's fairly rare that your foot actually touches the ball.
Whatever.
So we've taken to calling it
wrong.
handball.
Whatever. Yeah.
American handball.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like you're coping, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, football is.
I'm just saying we don't wear
most
pads.
World-known sport in the world, and that would be us over here, football, not you guys, footy ball. Like,
pads.
We're the important
pads are for
football.
teenagers,
You
man.
guys
Like,
are
It's funny they call it football, and there's like basically they kick
call
off.
it leg ball over there, right?
The only time they actually kick it is during the kickoff, which is a little bit stupid.
And they have like a special guy.
Just saying.
It's like
Or for a
special
field
guy comes in
goal
and he
or-
like kicks the ball. He's like, I've done my job. Have a great day,
Every
everyone.
time he's on the field, just like to kick the ball.
But I was going to say, Ham. But what do you feel though about the overarching question, which is, what do you feel about PlayStation? Having money-headed exclusivity to different things in the game that we won't get on Xbox.
I'm okay with Sony doing that as long as they're fine with Xbox saying, no, we're buying that studio. I don't care. Like, you going ahead and keep doing what you're doing, PlayStation, but quit your bitching. Quit your bitching when we do something extra flexing like.
All right.
Don't be mad. I mean, because you chose this road. You chose this road and said, compete with us. I mean, I tell you, Umbra, if you came up and hit me in the face right now, if you walked up to me and hit me in the face, is it my fault that I ran out to my car, grabbed the gun, and shot your ass?
I mean, technically, you made the decision to go get the gun. But...
Sure, but there are no rules out here.
That's right.
There are no rules when it comes to disrespect.
Yeah, that's right. Your reaction is going to be, contrary to what I do. You can't describe how somebody else is going to react to disrespect.
Yeah, in this business with games and whatnot, Sony can't just say, hey, we're doing it this way. Not only are we the market leader, but we also set the rules. You can't do that. You can't do that. So if they want to buy up and get these exclusives, I'm totally fine with it. Do your thing, Sony. You've always done that for your history. You've always kind of been partially responsible, but not fully responsible.
Another thing
Xbox is saying, you know what? Give me that responsibility. I'll take it. Let's go.
Another
That's
thing
what
that
Xbox is
annoys me in that is when Xbox bought exclusivity to Tomb Raider and the way that the media reacted to it, and there was so much negativity towards Xbox when they did that. Whereas, say now, Project Eve has been changed to Stellar Blade because PlayStation bought exclusivity of what should have been a third-party game. I don't see that same negativity.
Oh yeah.
And that is a big problem, I think. I don't know if that's just some
It's crickets.
media.
It's crickets for that game.
It really is, isn't it, mate? Yeah, it's a joke.
And that's a third-party game. That's not bought by Sony. That's third-party completely. Same thing with Forspoken. Same thing for Kena Bridge of Spirits. Same thing with a lot of these times when like some of these PlayStation fanboys come out and say, "Oh, Xbox has no games." Well, I'm just like, "Well, how many does PlayStation have?" Because a lot of these third party.
They ignore that. To them, Final Fantasy is first party. You know, Forspoken is first party. That's why they took it so hard when Forspoken flopped.
Yep.
You know, they made it up in their mind that it's first party.
And I know I was out there telling them, guys, it's not a dick. Don't take it so hard. Look, we do have to move. We do have to move. There's still people out there going, Forspoken is good. It is the good game.
It's great.
Forspoken is fun. I'll say it's fun. I'll sit right here and say it's fun, but I ain't paying no $70 for it. You out your goddamn mind.
It's fun to mock. I played that game. It was trash. Personally. Now, to each their own on it. You know what I mean? But you're right. I'm not paying $70 for that. I'm not paying $70.
I had 360 type fun in that game. 360 type fun. That's why I'm saying I'm not paying $70.
Never played it. Never enjoyed it.
Never played it. Never enjoyed it.
Look, I got to say, I did play it and it was trash, but we're going to move on to the next topic, to another game that is absolute trash. No, I'm kidding. But before I do, please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new here. We go live EST Fridays at 8 p.m. every second week. We pre-record as we are this week. We'll be in the chat saying hello to everyone. Diablo. Oh my God, I just said it like Special Nick.
Oh, you did.
Diablo.
Diablo.
Now you sound like Loke.
That's
now
the
you sound
country
like my buddy
version
Loke.
here in America.
Diablo.
Hey, play some that Diablo. Yeah, I'm down. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Get off the dang roof. Let's play some Diablo.
It's from Nolans. I'd say Diablo.
Diablo. Look, Diablo 4. God damn it. The Diablo 4.
Diablo.
Yeah, oh my God. The D4 beta was, I played it. I loved it. It was huge. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm turned around I loved Diablo 2 back in the day. Fucking loved it. I used to play on PC, dabble. I used to dab a little bit on the PC, but I love Diablo 2. That was an amazing game. Very nostalgic. And then 3 just didn't hit for me. Pete did say I only played it for 5 minutes with Pete. I did try to play it before that. It just wasn't hitting. But after 5 minutes with Diablo 4, I'm going to think about it now when I say the damn word. But after 5 minutes with Diablo 4, I loved it, man. It's beautiful. Like, it is a good looking game. The cutscenes are stunning. It's dark. It's gritty. I feel like the story is going to be really good, like just based on what I've seen so far. And look, man, I can't say enough good about this game. I wasn't in the hype train, but now I'm in the hype train. I'm probably going to play it a little bit this week. I think it's a beta that's worth completing because you do get something out of it at the end. So I'll definitely have a bit of a run through with that as much as I can, because I'm going back to work. But I'm looking forward to it, man. What do you guys think? Ham, I know you got a chance to play it. What were your thoughts on the Diablo?
Oh man, so let me keep it a buck. So I never played any of the previous Diablos. Okay? But I did grow up playing Gauntlet.
Yes. That was a great game.
So exactly, right? I played that for Dreamcast and I believe my PlayStation or Xbox. I remember Dark Legacy for sure.
Dude, I played that on the Commodore 64. Gauntlet.
Wow. That's something right there. I mean, yeah, the game is old. The game's been around for a long time. So I played that, and so I kind of understood what the game was once I like checked it out and seen it and whatnot. I was like, man, this is just like a massive online version of Gauntlet. And I got into it, and check out how I got into it. I took my ass right up the road to KFC, dog. Took myself right up the road to KFC I ordered me that chicken sandwich that whatever it's called, double stack, I think, something like that. And it came with the beta. The beta got emailed to me.
That's some good chicken
Downloaded
right
the
there.
beta. That
Sorry.
hey, bro. Not only did I get dinner, but I got a game for the next 3 days for $10. I was not mad. I was not mad at all. Yeah. Oh man. And the kernel is hidden.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
but
that
yeah.
wasn't available in Australia.
I'm sorry, big dog. I'm sorry. But anyways, I was I'm sorry, just 1 second.
Blown away. Literally.
Who else has played the beta?
Sorry about that. My daughter thought it was okay to run up on me. But anyways,
That's right. I just kicked mine out. I was like,
yeah, I just had to do that too. My daughter was
So,
like, I was trying to tell you something. I'm like, you better
you just
wait.
played the one character, Han, or have you played numerous characters? Do you, like,
no, so I
feel
played
like
the
it's a game
sorcerer.
that you're going to?
I played as the sorcerer, and I did I got all the way up to level 25 because that's where they level capped it for the beta. And I had a blast, man. Like I was playing it at first alone, and it was cool and whatnot. I tell you what I didn't expect getting into that game was the queues. Because like I said, I came from Gauntlet and then came straight into that game. So I didn't know there was a queue at all. So I'm sitting here waiting 15 minutes to hop in the game to play. And I was just thinking this better be good.
The kernel's not so good now, huh?
The kernel had me sweating a little bit. I wasn't sure. But anyways, I got into the game. The story was wow. That was insane. It seems very satanic, but you're going versus them. So whatever. I'm the good guy, right? So whatever. but it was so cool, man. Like, and the way you could level yourself up, it's very easy to, like, if you level yourself up wrong, all you have to do is just gain some coin, and then you can redo all your levels pretty easily. Relevel yourself. But once I got up to 25, man, my electricity, man, I was the rock on stage, bro. I was the most electrifying man in Diablo 4. It was fantastic, man. The dungeons were insane. Like I said, part of that story is just sick. Some of the stuff that happens in the church, it is just sick.
Oh, so good. That was so good. Yeah, man.
It was. It threw me off to the side. I was like, "Oh wow, this game is disgusting."
Did you do any of the multiplayer aspect? I heard that there's like world bosses that you can go and compete against.
Yeah. Yes, I did do the multiplayer. I played with my buddy Matt Likes Games and also another buddy of mine, Hard Days Mike, and we hopped in there, the three of us, and we were just running through caves, we were just run through dungeons and whatnot, just wrecking stuff. It was a good time. And I tell you what, when you have more people playing, you'd think it'd get crazy easier. It does get a little easier, but right when you think that you got your chest out, you think you're tough, and then you run into the wrong area of the map and you ain't so tough. So I mean, I like that game because it makes you feel like a superhero, and then it reminds you that you just a Padawan.
So has anyone else got a chance to play the beta? Umbra? Cutie?
Unfortunately, no for me, but I am getting the open beta right now for the Xbox for the weekend. So
I can see you on Xbox. No, you're right.
yeah. I'll be enjoying it this week to see what it's all about.
Oh,
yeah, I jumped in when I was able to play. It did. I'm like Ham. I haven't really played any of the previous Diablo. I did know that there were wait times, but I didn't expect them to be so long. I think the longest one I had was 2 hours. So
That's insane. I'm
yeah.
so happy I didn't see that. I'm sorry that you had to.
No, that's okay.
I would have
I only
walked away if I seen that.
I only posted the one on Twitter where it said 69 minutes because I thought people would find that funny. Not many people picked it up though. But anyway,
I did.
yeah. So, oh yes, you did.
I did. I
Uh,
responded.
it was a it was a really really long wait, and then I got kicked off a few times, and then had to re-wait that amount of time. So it wasn't great, but that's not really reflective of the game's quality. But what I did play, I played as a sorceress. Was quite fun. I didn't jump into any of the multiplayer. I think that would be quite fun, the co-op, online co-op. But hopefully this weekend with the second
Beta.
open beta test, yeah, they can iron out some of those server kinks. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, they
Did you
did.
just try it on the initial day, or did you try it like throughout the weekend?
Yeah, I tried multiple times throughout the weekend. I'm not
Oh,
quite
wow.
sure what was going
That's much.
on.
Y'all servers must be
No,
must have been getting slammed or something, because
some
ours
people
were
had
bad the
success.
first day and okay and perfect. It was perfect Saturday and Sunday, but it was terrible on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any issue because I jumped in late, and I think I had a queue on the so I had a queue on the first day, and then I was like, "Fuck this! I ain't waiting for a beta." And then on the second day, I was straight in, had no dramas, and they did say online, I believe the developer said that they have fixed the issue, so you shouldn't have much of an issue. But of course, it's a beta. There'll be a titload more people than there was previously trying to jump in, so there might be.
It's open now.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean having it at KFC is pretty much
beta.
Right. Sorry, Pete.
I was just going to say, this is a reason for having a beta. You know, they're testing the servers. Obviously, Ham's gone on American servers, which they would have dedicated more time to than, say, the Oceania servers, which are typically, a little bit lackluster. I think that sucks, Cutie, that once you actually got into the game, if you got kicked, you'd have to re-wait on the load times. I don't know if I would have done that. In saying that, I can't wait. I'm downloading it now. Everyone, just to let you guys know, it is available for pre-download now. No, it's not going to go live until the 24th, I believe, but you can download it now, and it is 100 gigs, so you might want to get it on your console, and free up some room, do whatever you need to do to play it. I've heard that everything about it is meant to be really, really good. You can play a couple of extra characters now in the open beta that weren't available to the closed beta, to the pre-purchase.
It opens up the Necromancer and the Assassin. Is that the two? So yeah,
I don't know, mate.
Definitely the Necromancer, because I wanted to play the Necromancer, and I was like, oh shit, okay, well, I played the Sorcerer. So, sorry, Pete.
It's only 76 gigabytes here in America for the beta.
It's 96.8, I believe, in Australia.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it must be the exchange rate.
Yeah. Tomatoes, chat. You know what to do.
So Diablo 3 was my first Diablo game, and I absolutely loved it. Now, typically, I don't get into those over-the-top action games, but I wanted to play a co-op game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I know that they're going back to the Diablo 2 art style in this. It's going to be a lot more darker. I think that you alluded to how gritty and dark it was, Ham, when you played it. I liked that. The reason why I asked you about the open world portions where you have a shared world is I'm a little bit worried about that, just with the art style and the feel they're going for. I think that they want you to feel a little bit more enclosed, entrapped, and I don't know how the shared world aspect of it will, work or either hinder the game. But in saying that, the game looks beautiful. Blizzard are a proven commodity in this. Diablo is a proven IP, and I can't wait to play it.
God damn! Just for
Chaz
those,
Gordon did a display of part 3 to compare it to this, like a side by side, and it looks like night and day. It's kind of insane.
It's beautiful. It's darker. It's grittier. It's amazing. For those of you guys watching the Halo gameplay on the screen right now, unfortunately, the Xbox Infinite symbol is over the ping. but my ping is astronomical. And if any of you take the piss out of my gameplay, I swear to God, banned for a month. No, I'm kidding. You guys in the chat that came through to check us out, you are amazing. We are going to move to the next topic, but Diablo 4, the beta was amazing. I recommend downloading it. It was great. Sorry, Ham, go ahead.
Dabla. That's all I said. It's just
Dabla.
Dabble in some dabbler this week.
Oh my God.
Please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, share us out, tell your grandmother about us, tell all your friends about us. We go live Friday, 8 p.m. EST every second week, and we pre-record the other week. If you're in Australia, it's 11 a.m. Kick back with your coffee and listen to this. Spider-Man 2 date got leaked in a spectacular fuck-up fashion, which is hilarious. One of the voice actors dropped the date. Basically said,
"Yeah, bro."
There's absolute gold. I wonder how much shit this guy got in, and I would have loved to have been in the fly on the wall. But he was like, I'm told, basically what he said was, I'm told it's September. I said, I can't wait to see the game, blah, blah, blah. I'm told it's September. That would put it up against another large game that I believe is releasing in September.
It's not that big. It's just a new IP.
Just a new IP from Bethesda, infinitely larger. And look, shout out to RDX. The guys were talking on RDX the other day, and then there was a lot of guys in the chat as well who were saying that, yep, Spider-Man will probably sell well, probably better initially, and that Starfield will just have the legs and will go on for years. I mean, look at Elder Scrolls Online.
I said that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I was one of those guys.
Exactly the same. I completely agree. And here's the other thing that was nuanced that I don't think anyone said, although it's fairly obvious. Starfield's on Game Pass, right? So it's definitely, it does. I don't care what anyone says. It's absolutely true. Like Game Pass cannibalizes game sales. It does. It's not a bad thing. Those developers who are third party get remunerated for that. Like they make up for it. It's all good. But yes, it does cannibalize sales. So I don't expect to see Starfield absolutely smash the sales. What I expect to see is Starfield have a much bigger player count. There was someone I saw on Twitter that said, I really hate it when people use player count as a metric. When you have a subscription service, it's viewer count, player count. That's how you get your engagement, which is what these metrics are about. Sales, to me, the only reason I give a shit about sales is because it's interesting to see how many people are playing the game. I don't give a fuck who paid what for the game and how much money the company made. I do kind of, I don't care, but it's just interesting to know how many people are playing the game. Sales will give you that metric for PlayStation. Player count will give you that metric for Xbox. But look, I'm super excited to play both. Like I said, honestly, this PS5 is literally collecting dust. I could take a picture of it. It is fucking covered in dust at the minute. I need to clean the thing off. But there's just no games on the PlayStation right now, and I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man 2. Cutie, I know that you have a PlayStation 5. Have you played the original Spider-Man? Did you like that?
I have.
Did you play the Miles Morales DLC? And are you looking forward to Spider-Man 2?
I have played them all. I did enjoy them. I don't know. Like, I'm not hyped. I'm not like super hyped. I think it's cool, but yeah, overall, I'm just like a bit meh. Like, I feel like it's going to be much of the same. I don't know why there's so many. If someone can tell me why there's so many iterations of it, so many editions, that would be great. Because I feel like it could have been a standalone game. I don't know why it's continued for so long.
Yeah, well, it's Spider-Man. It's like it's Marvel's biggest selling comic is Spider-Man, which is weird.
No, I know that. But I don't know. The game seemed like it told the story. Could have been enough. I feel like they're trying to make more money.
Yeah, well, definitely.
You're probably not that big into Spider-Man. Maybe is that what it is? Because he's
maybe
one of the biggest comic characters of all time. Yeah,
I know.
One of the best
maybe
superhero games of all time.
But yeah. I feel like the universe of Spider-Man was pretty well covered. I don't know what else could possibly be told, to be honest. But that's me. You all probably have a different opinion. But I did play it. I did have fun. I may play the next one. I might not, depending on what's out at the time, depending on how much Starfield or Forza Motorsport, grabs me.
Well,
We'll see.
I think a
See
big
what
question about how exciting it's going to be is are we going to be swinging around the same city? Like, because
Yeah.
I mean, I've already swung around that city. I've already done. I didn't 100%. I didn't go for the trophy. I don't give a shit about trophies on PlayStation, but I did finish the game and collected everything in it. So I don't really want to swing around New York again. Umbra, are you? I know you're a Spider-Man fan and you are keen for it, but what are your thoughts on the release date landing next to Starfield, which I think is just stupidity because, yeah, so even Spider-Man needs to get the fuck out of the way for Starfield. And do you think it should be in a different part of the city? Boston? Maybe Chicago?
In Boston, the main streets of Boston. I'm all for it being in the same city. And yeah, you're right. Spider-Man actually is my all-time favorite comic character, actually. Grew up loving the man, and the character, I suppose I should say. And it's so much you can do with it story-wise. So just to say what you were talking about, Cutie, that's why I say I don't think maybe you're much of a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah,
Which is,
maybe.
yeah, I get it. And it is what it is. Like some things you just don't care about as much. But Spider-Man has such a crazy long history that it's so much to be told that they can tap into that they're not even touching. Right here, obviously, they're going to be tapping into the Sinister Six. So that matters. They got Venom coming into it with Tony Todd, who revealed all this, by the
Okay.
way. So,
That's cool.
yeah. And by the way, just to say, so September for that, but he also revealed something else if you all didn't pay attention to it. He said massive publicity coming in August. So that probably tells us that we'll have some type of PlayStation Direct in August, right? So that's interesting too, by the way. As far as it needing to dodge Starfield or anything like that, I don't know. Spider-Man is a worldwide. He is the biggest comic IP as far as merchandising and things of that nature. So I don't know necessarily how that would affect them one way or another, especially with them being on different platforms. I don't think it's going to affect anything one way or another. So it's just going to come down to preference. What are you going to play first? What are you more excited for? Personally, nothing has surpassed my excitement for Starfield this year. That hasn't changed. So I'm still just waiting for Starfield. But Spider-Man 2 is definitely on my radar. So it's up there, maybe top 3. I don't know if I'll put it in top 2 or not, but it's definitely up there. So I'll say I'll play both. I might even play Spider-Man first just to get it out of the way. And different from you, Risk, I am a completionist. So if I swing around that city, I'm doing everything. That's just me. But yeah, no, I'm excited for both. I wonder how much trouble Tony Todd is in for that. I mean, but they might be afraid to come at him because he was Candyman. So I don't know. It might leave him alone. Yeah,
I didn't know it was Candyman.
Oh
That's
yeah,
cool.
it was Candyman. Yeah, old Venom is Candyman. Yep. So I don't know. Maybe they're a little spooked and like, I'm not going to come at this dude. What if he appears in my mirror or something later on tonight? I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm pretty sure his agent got an earful and he got an earful after the fact. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I
it's
tend to
something.
believe it with the follow-up post of "Oops." I think that he got scolded pretty bad for that tweet. I don't think it's very smart going up against Starfield, but I can understand why they did it. In terms of which one's going to sell better, I don't know. Bethesda games typically sell extremely well on PC. It's where most of their fan base lies. Yes, I think that Game Pass will cannibalize a lot of the sales on Xbox, and I think you're right. Player count's going to be a big thing, and it will have longevity. There are still people playing Skyrim to this day. Cutie, I don't think I agree with your call on Spider-Man, but the story being told. How many Spider-Man movies have there been? 5, and then the Tom Holland ones. What, 3 or 4 of those?
Yeah, but it
There
doesn't. But
are,
it doesn't follow that. It doesn't follow the movies.
and
It's
I
its
know
own.
that
It's its own iteration.
Yeah, but there are so many great villains in the Spider-Man universe that we haven't seen yet that can, tell a great story in and of themselves. And, we've seen that with Morbius and Venom in the movie universe, like getting their own standalone movies. And I think the same can be said for, the Spider-Man games. There's just so many stories to tell in that universe. It's probably one of the biggest comic book worlds out there. I'm more of a DC fan, but I can't deny, how good Spider-Man is. He's a fantastic character with fantastic stories to tell. And not only that, Insomniac are just the kings. The amount of games that they're able to push out and the quality they're able to push out has just been fantastic. And if I had a PlayStation 5, I would play this game. Unfortunately, I don't, so it will definitely be Starfield for me.
Absolutely. If I was going to pick one, it would definitely be The Curious Case of Benedict Fox's Cumberbatch. I am Solo. Are you excited to see Spider-Man 2 come to the Xbox? It's not coming to the Xbox. Are you excited to see Spider-Man 2 launch on PlayStation 5? Do you think it's a smart thing to do to drop it next to Starfield? And are you worried about where they're going to set this damn game?
Nah, they're two totally different games. This doesn't bother me at all. Because I'm buying both of them. So what does that say? I mean,
I don't believe you because Xbox gamers do not buy games. That's a lie.
Oh, whatever. I'm buying both of them. And
wait, so you're buying Starfield?
For Starfield,
you're not getting it off of Game Pass. You're saying
I'm gonna play it on Game Pass, but I want to purchase like I want to purchase like a hard copy or something, or get some sort of like dope edition that I'm assuming they're gonna come out with.
Gotcha.
Since it's like a brand new IP, I like some Bethesda games. Not that long ago, like I want to say last year, I got into Skyrim for the first time ever. And yeah, and that game took me for a ride. I like I was playing for like I want to say I was playing for like 30 hours, and I thought I was following the story and ended up rolling credits for a DLC, and I was like, wait, what just happened?
What the hell story am I in?
Exactly. I was like, what the hell just happened?
It was a story. It was,
it was something, but like I ended up going back to Whiterun and finding out that, man, I am hella early in the story actually, and I got a lot to go, but I continued on, and it's been an absolute blast. It's just insane that such an old game can still like continue to sell and continue to like get new people to play. You know what I mean? It's that's just wild. So when I hear about like Starfield coming out, I'm just like, man, this is supposed to have like I don't know how many times the lines that Fallout has, and Fallout 4 has more lines than Skyrim has. So it's just like, what's gonna be happening here? Yeah, it's gonna be insane. But we're talking about Spider-Man. So like Spider-Man, I think it's gonna be fantastic. Like I said, it's a totally different type of game. And I'm not huge into Spider-Man like Umbra is. Like I don't know all that history stuff about it. But I've been playing Spider-Man video games since like the Genesis. So like just because I don't know all that stuff doesn't mean I don't like enjoy me some Spider-Man. I remember playing like Maximum Carnage way back in the day. What's it called? The Spider-Man game for like the PlayStation 1 and like the N64. Spider-Man 2. I still remember the cheat code to that. Eel Nats. It's just Stan Lee spelled backwards. And you can unlock like everything. Yeah, I mean, there's the Activision ones that came out for, it was Activision early as well, but like there's Activision ones that came out like 1, 2, and 3 for like the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. There's like, man, there's so many different Spider-Man games. I can just keep going over and over and over. I got Shattered, what is it, like Shattered Universe or something like that for my 360 as well.
It's Spider-Man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's insane how many dang different Spider-Mans there are. There's one for the Sega CD I want. So like, I like Spider-Man video games. I really enjoy it. The movies with Tobey Maguire were my favorite ones. I can't wait to play it. I platinumed Miles Morales, and I'm not a trophy chaser or a achievement hunter or any of that stuff, but that game was so fun, and the achievements stayed pretty on par with the things that you needed to do in the game. It didn't like divvy off too much. So it was pretty, it's like one of the easier platinums, I'll say, on PlayStation that you'll probably be able to get. But I can't wait for this new one. And I'm wondering, I mean, it looks like Spider-Man has, the original Spider-Man has like a new, like some new abilities, it looks like, just based on like some of the pictures that they showed. I'm wondering how Miles Morales is going to be added to this. Venom is a loudmouth apparently and giving out all this information. I'm happy. I ain't mad about
They
it.
announced
But
whether if this game's going to be co-op or not.
If this game is co-op,
it's not. No, they've announced that they've definitively stated that it is not co-op.
It is not co-op. It is not. It's one. You're telling me right now it's a 100% not going to be co-op.
100% not going to be co-op. They said they never played it, never enjoyed it. No, they said.
Oh my God, that loses some brownie points with me. I'm still going to buy it day one. I was really hoping that
definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah, man.
When
like,
they
why
first
not?
showed it, that it looked like a co-op game. They showed Spider-Man and Miles Morales standing side by side.
Fighting
they
together.
gaslit the hell out of me, man. Damn.
Yeah, but they came out recently after, not recently, but like straight away after the trailer. I think it was like a month or so when people are talking co-op, and they just put that idea to bed, man, which is unfortunate.
I just stayed asleep and just kept hoping, and you came and shattered my damn dream. So that game is something I really can. I'm still anticipating it. I'm just coping at the same time. It's hard.
Yeah.
Let somebody else go. I don't want to talk no more.
Him. Oh,
Period
darling.
crushed. Successful.
Look, we will move on to the next topic. And it is an
Riskit,
interesting
the crusher of dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what I do. It is an interesting one, but before I do, please hit the like button. If you are still here hanging around listening, we really appreciate all you guys in the chat. You guys are champions. Normally every week you make me giggle when we're live, so I'm assuming that you're doing the same now. And we do go live at 8 p.m. EST every second week, and we pre-record the other week. And if you're in Australia, it's about 11 a.m. Kick back, get your grandma to make you a pancake, have some coffees and some little chocolates, like the mints that you have after dinner. That was weird. I don't know what I'm talking about now. Anyway,
lovely grandma.
If you, grandma's great. So the next topic, which is Gears of War, a new No, it's not a new game. God damn it. But there is there is a
It's
new
a card game. It's a card game. Tabletop. Let's go.
Can't wait.
Oh no! I cannot get excited about that. Sorry.
Definitely not. No, but it is a new TV show, and it's they released a tweet, Gears of War, just recently. They said it's a hell of an honor to team up with John Spahatz. I don't exactly know how to say it.
Spate.
What?
Spate.
Wow, that's a really weird way to spell Spate. But anyway, John Spate, a talented writer and fellow Gears fan, to adapt the authentic live-action Gears of War film with Netflix. What is cool about this is a guy who has done Dune and Doctor Strange. So he has some very decent franchises under his belt, and I'm pretty excited to see what they come out with. However, he doesn't need to be that great of a writer, because Gears already has a good story until you hit 5. Well, 4 wasn't great either, but 4 was better than 5.
I enjoy 5. I think 5 is much better than 4.
No, 5 sucked, dude. They were like, no,
What?
5 sucked. You can you can't like go, this story is about Marcus Phoenix. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about his son. 5. Actually, we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you the story about his son. We're going to move on to someone else. Like that was just.
It's a story about Kate, but if you play as Kate and those nightmarish scenes, I think it's a great story.
It's a great game. It's they fucked the story by moving away from the Phoenix family. Gears of War is Marcus Phoenix, and that's what I want to see. I don't want to see Kate Diaz. I don't want to see Gabe Diaz. I don't want to see the Diaz
story.
family.
I agree.
I
Starting
want
with Adam Phoenix, then going to Marcus Phoenix, and then going to JD. It is a Phoenix story. I think that they did make a misstep with that. I would have preferred to see more of what happened between Anya and Marcus when they were married, and which has caused, the distance between JD and Marcus. In saying that, I think it was Xbox that asked for a more female protagonist. They didn't have anything at the time, and I think that they asked them to move over to the Kate story. I'm hoping that both stories can be told concurrently in the next one, but I still think it's a great story.
I think they should reboot and start again. Personally, go back to exactly what you said. Go back to shit. I can't remember the name of the wars, but the wars beforehand, like when the Pendulum Wars, that's the one. Go back to the Pendulum Wars. That would be fucking epic. I want to see that. And let's have Marcus when he was a younger badass, becoming what he is, what we saw him as. I don't want to see the Diaz's. Sorry.
I wouldn't mind that.
It did that a little bit in Judgment,
flashback or something like that. Yeah, Judgment was someone like that. Although that was not a great game, but they can maybe do flashbacks or something like that. But I don't think they fumbled at all going to Kate in part 5. They established it in part 4. So I disagree because part 4 established it already. And so naturally it flowed to have her as the lead when based off the ending of part 4.
Nope.
But also I'll say this. And we have to get out of this whole thing of making a game behind a single protagonist. That's a trap that too many people fall into. It's Marcus Phoenix.
You mean using a single engine for a game?
No. That's a whole different type of thing. Well, that's a whole different type of thing. But I mean, as far as if that's the case, then you would be agreeing with me, right? Because you just argued for Marcus Phoenix to continue.
I'm not agreeing.
So my thing is to point out that it should not be just focused on Marcus. I think his story was told from 1 through 3. In fact, they only really included him because he's such a fan favorite. It's hard to ignore Marcus being in his world and not having him as one of the cast. That's really what that came down to. And this new cast was not somebody that people were going to be, a group of people that people were going to navigate to and gravitate to. And that people wanted Marcus in the team and Cold Train and everybody and Baird and so on and so forth. That's all that was. But I wasn't upset at all with how they went with part 5. 5 was much better than part 4. Factually so. Even if you was well, I think this was, that's good. You think it, but part 5 just was so much better, well made overall compared to part 4. Narratively and just game design wise, personally. But anyway, we're way off topic, aren't we, Riz?
Well, we are slightly off topic, but 5 was a really good game. The game was good. I don't want. It's not about the Diaz's, man. Why are the Diaz's? Her dad was a fucking mechanic, for God's sake. No, he wasn't. He was actually in
Wait a minute. I was just about to say, wait a minute, wasn't he? Okay,
yeah. He was in
Gabriel.
He was a shooter. He was a shooter too.
Yeah, he was in Gears Tactics. He was a special forces dude or whatever. But look, yes, I want Phoenix, man. Give me some more Phoenix. I don't really want anyone but Marcus, though. I don't want his son because JD turned into a bit of a bitch. That was the other thing that I didn't like about what they did with the Phoenix. They turned him into a complete bitch, man. And that was I don't want you doing stuff because you might get hurt. That is a very... Who did you let survive Risk in part 5? JD or Dale? Dale.
You actually remembered his name. That's amazing.
I only remember because we talked about it.
Because we were looking up the other day.
That's the only reason. Yep. I'm so sorry, brother Dale, but I sure forget your name every damn time.
Oh man,
that's
so funny.
Yeah. Who did you let survive Risk? Was it JD or Dale? Who was it?
Dale.
You let him survive? You let JD die?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what about you guys? Who
look, JD survived. I can't kill Marcus's son, and in canon, JD does survive. So that's what's going to happen in the going forward.
I'm with you, Pete. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do that to Marcus. I was like, nah, I'm not doing it to him.
If Marcus comes back angry at me, and that's the next game, kill Riskit, fine. As long as he's in the next game, I got no issue with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll start the petition.
I killed
I'm
JD.
sure I'll get lots of ponies.
Yeah, with Jade, yeah, you
so
get a
I'm in
lot.
that
I didn't like
You get a lot of
JD in
ponies on that
4, and
petition.
I didn't
for
like
sure.
him in 5 either.
Damn.
JD
Yeah,
had to
I
go.
like that.
If I could have, I would have killed him in 4.
yeah.
Look,
Sheesh.
I hope that this series is great. Like I really do. I
Mhm.
really
Think
hope
it'll be
it's not a
good.
repeat of some previous
Yes.
Good
point, Cutie. Good point. Like,
I would say-
do we want to see
Go
him
ahead,
follow?
Rick.
This is where we started. Do we want to see him follow? Look, I'll go to you, Umbra. Do we want to see him follow the story beat for beat, such as The Last of Us? Has they've taken a little bit of some liberties here and there, but they've been, I feel, for the most part, added to the story. There was no filler. And as opposed to going with like Halo. Where they just basically took the canon, took a massive shit on it, and then made
Start
some.
showing his ass cheeks.
Yeah. Is that what you want to see, Umbra? Do you want to see him follow the story beat for beat, or do you want to see
You
him?
kind of you touched on exactly where I was about to go, and that was that we have now this discussion of games and shows being adapted, or rather movies being adapted. Should they kind of just follow the story we got in games? The Last of Us was successful not only because of the solid acting overall, including the filler episode in 3, but also because uh, but because it largely followed an already solid story, and they didn't deviate extremely far from it. So I don't know. I think if they stick closer to the story, and they have room here, they got wiggle room because we didn't see why Marcus was put into the brig, for instance, right? So they can go elsewhere with that and show us those things and show a younger Marcus and all these things and D-Day when it first happened and all of that. They can do all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, so they could do that and still kind of follow the game of for part 1 and so on and so forth. So I would argue because we are such a fickle band of people, gamers and such. You kind of want to stick closer to the canon than not. Halo is a victim of that because they deviated too far. You know what I mean?
Way too far.
Yeah, they did. So it's like I guess it's a delicate line that you have to kind of tiptoe around. And I think The Last of Us got it right overall. I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do in the second season. By the way, it's going to change up some things. But I would say with Gears of War, largely this writer here, to me, would be more so because of the dialogue he's going to provide, and I guess just adapting what we've already seen. I hope they don't go too far from what we have established, unless they're going to make it more darker, like more horror like, right? That's the only other way I would be like, yeah, that's fine that they did that. Otherwise, I would say kind of follow the first game story and stay closer to that.
Well, that's an interesting.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point that you're saying there, because they could really sort of take it to horror. So now, typically, and I'm going to go to you, Pete, is typically with The Last of Us, obviously there's gameplay sections in which there's a lot more zombies. That was one of the complaints, I think, from some of the community, that there wasn't enough zombies in it, because obviously those gameplay beats aren't there. The zombies don't need to be in those sections. Would have been nicer, I think, if they were. And obviously Gears is predominantly an action game, so exactly what Umbra was saying, probably they brought in this writer to fill out the dialogue in between those sections while hopefully trying to stick to the story beats. But action sequences, we obviously can't have a TV show that's filled out with the amount of action sequences we have in the game. So did you want to see them take more of a slower approach to the action, or do you want a fast and furious type action? Or what changes would you like to see them made there? Because that, I think, is the part that's really sort of open to a lot of change, for the better and worse.
Okay, so this is the problem, Risk. I don't think it's a TV show, it's a movie, so a lot of the story needs to be condensed. I would have actually preferred it to be a TV show, and I think they might actually be doing both. One thing that does harden me like a lot is the screenwriter that they got, the guy that did June, and especially going on his work that he did for June, stuck very, very close to the source material. I think that that's what made that movie so great. I love that adaptation. I think it was magnificent, and I can't wait for part two of it because they did stick so close. I'm hoping they do the same thing for Gears, but just because of how much they're gonna have to condense it, I don't know how much you're gonna be able to do that. I don't know how extended the story is gonna be able to become because you're gonna have to put it into that 2 hour time frame. And in saying that, look, I wanted to go back to my point earlier. I don't mind the Kate Diaz story. I think that, her grandmother being, the Locust Queen and her birthright is to become the next Locust Queen. I really want to see where that goes. I think they did that really, really good.
I thought it was, but look, yeah, I just that whole story is like, holy shit! It turns out it's my mom that's the Locust Queen. Wow, like, oh, it was.
Grandma.
I was just like, what the fuck? Like, like I could see where it was going at the beginning, and I was like, obviously because of 4, and I was like, oh god, just please don't go there. It's really.
So you acknowledge then that 4 did establish to make way for her being a
Oh
character in
yeah,
part
it did
5.
establish it, and I was like, please don't do this because you like, yeah, and you just destroyed JD, made him look like an absolute clown, like for the sake of propping up a character that really wasn't a main character. It's just I can't. I was pissed at 5, I have to say. I mean, I love the game. Gameplay was like epic. Graphically, it was amazing. Like, it was the best Gears game that they'd made to date. Just the story wasn't quite there. Sort of nothing compares to 1, 2, I think. Like, even 3. Ham?
I think 2 was the best. 2 was just so good, and it was so sad.
Part 3 for
as
me.
well.
The Maria story was
Yeah.
something else, wasn't it, man?
That was pretty sad.
It really
part 3,
was
though.
the whole Maria thing, and then it was just sad. But yeah, as for like the movie, I mean, I'm already wondering like why they decide. Like in my opinion, I'm just like, why is this a movie? It should be a show, in my opinion, because it's just like either they're gonna try to fit too much into the movie and it's not gonna be long enough, or it's gonna feel cut short, or maybe they might do multiple movies. That'd be cool too, I guess, but I don't know. After seeing Halo and seeing The Last of Us, I guess I'm spoiled now. I just want a show out of it. I don't want it. I don't want it to be like 2 hours and then it's over.
Look at the stark difference between Halo and The Last of Us. One stuck very close to the source material, one deviated from it extensively, and I just
Wait,
think
which one is that? Which one is which?
I think that parallel is stark, and I think that that's where they need to learn from that. But what timeline would you like to see, Ham? Do you want to go see them go back to E-Day and see Marcus
I want
in
them
jail?
to go back with start at the beginning of and I need this stuff from I don't want to start out at all with Diaz. Like Diaz is something that should come way later, or like in like movie like 3. Like I'm not like I agree with, I believe it was Riskit that said it, like I'm there for Marcus Phoenix. And that's what gets me hyped. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Kate at all. There's nothing wrong with her at all. In fact, Kate's a badass. But like the person that brought me here, it's like Rick in Walking Dead. He brought me here.
Yeah.
I want to see that be, put center stage. Rick brought me to this state of the show from the very jump street when he was the cop and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I want that to be like the same kind of thing with Gears. Like Marcus Phoenix brought me here. I want to ride with him from the jump. And then, we'll figure out all that stuff. But where I'd like to see it end, or not actually end, maybe, because like who knows with Gear 6 coming out whenever, right? But like I would definitely like to see side stories like Hive Busters.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I mean,
I have
Because
a question.
Keegan was a beast, and if they can bring that mustache to reality, oh my god, that's insane, man. That mustache was just that man was a porn star hanging out with Dolomite back in the day. He had to be.
the short
Wow.
story in that whole thing.
Five turkey sucker fool.
The short story in that whole thing was like really good. The back and forth between the characters, like and the humor like was on point. It wasn't cringe humor. It was pretty good. The characters were good, and the special abilities, the gameplay changes. I really sort of hope to see Gears 6
Like
go
that.
in that way. Yeah.
I said the same. Yep, I said the same. I hope they evolve that. They kind of touched on it in campaign with you using Jack to allow you to get certain abilities. I hope that I had thoughts on that, but I'm not going to go into it right now. My question to you guys is, would you have preferred? And I think we asked this before. I think it would have been wiser for them to make it animated and use whatever they need to make it a really,
They are making an animated show.
They
I
are
know,
doing
but
both. Yeah.
this to me would have been better instead of a live action though. Like even if the movie, I would have preferred animated, and that way they could have used the voices that we've come to love. Because I can only imagine them getting Batista, and you're like, that's not Marcus. You know what I mean? You hear his voice. I hear people like, oh yeah, Batista, because he looks kind of like him a little bit.
No, he does. No, he does not. Yeah.
I don't think he does either. But imagine him talking like Marcus, and you're not hearing the nice and Cole, and you're not going to hear that. And you're like, nah, that's not my Marcus right there. I think it's going to take a lot of people out of it, and they're not seeing that yet. But wait until that happens. I think they're going to lose.
Who do you think is going to be Coltrane?
Probably Terry
Terry
Oh,
Crews.
more like Terry.
I
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I had a whole list. I can't remember their names, but some of them were a little bit old. So I don't know. Either some young people are going to have to get really jacked.
You got Lawrence Fishburne in there.
Or
we did do a list.
or yeah,
I
they
forgot
might
about
have to
that.
they might have to go older. I don't know. I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, we did have a list.
Who's the
covered
guy in
this
Creed?
before.
Who's the guy in Creed?
That's Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
I
Michael B.
All I'm
I reckon
saying,
Michael B. will
Pedro
be
too
Pascal,
small.
He is
Pedro
too small.
Pascal.
He could get
He's not
jacked.
jacked enough.
He could
Oh,
get
Michael B.
jacked.
Jordan is jacked already, but I'm talking
He's
about
already
actor
jacked.
wise.
That's about
Nah,
as big as he
needs to
gonna
be-
get.
Not Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan would be perfect, but Pedro Pascal. I think
It's
I
who,
think the
Marcus?
show
What are these small dudes gonna
No.
be in?
No,
in
but they got to
Gears
get bigger.
for?
Or that wait, what's that guy from Moon Knight?
What about
oh gosh,
Arnie?
I can't
I think
remember
the
his name.
cast.
What about Arnold
I think the
Schwarzenegger as
casting of
Marcus?
Marcus will go a long
Yeah,
way
see,
to
I
see
don't-
how
Hello,
successful it's
Coltrane.
going to be as well.
Look.
And I agree with Umbra. I don't think Dave Bautista really fits the role at all. I don't want him
No.
to see as Marcus. I know he wants to play Marcus, but I
No,
just
I don't
can't
want to.
see him in that
He's
role.
too old and
Yeah.
yuck.
It's not even the age thing. He just doesn't look like him. He doesn't sound like him. And I think he's a decent actor.
Yeah, I mean, look, are people really watching this for the acting? I don't know.
Well, I hope so.
Look, there's so much. Yeah,
hope so.
look, there's so much CGI. There's
Get
so
Bill
much.
Goldberg.
There's so.
Right.
The actor that
Just go
played
sack the locust.
the actor that played Master Cheeks, he put on a lot of weight. Like he transformed his body for that role. So look, it's possible. It is possible for anyone to get
Yeah, I
jacked
mean,
for this.
Look, it's Bane. Oh, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy
yeah,
stacked on a
Tom
That would be
ridiculous.
awesome. Tom Hardy would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he stacked on a ridiculous amount of weight for Bane. That was crazy, man, coming from what he was. And I think he was doing a movie before that called something to do with fighting. And he was fighting his brother as an MMA fighter. And he was a bit of a
I think, right?
Yeah, he was a
No, they
badass in
played
that.
Jack
but
Reacher.
but he
in
got
the Reacher
huge.
series on Amazon. He's massive.
Nah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah,
That's
but he's
Captain America. That's what he looks like.
yeah,
Look,
he's
it's
he's
camera
not a bad- yeah.
angles. It's camera angles. They can all walk on, the platforms and stuff during filming, and yeah.
That's true.
The
I think they can
the,
do
art, the
both.
artistry. If we're talking about height, because I know you guys are worried about that, because these are quite tall men in the game. I think they can use their movie magic to make that happen.
Yeah, well, I mean,
They
if they
should
do it,
hire a real football player to be Coltrane. That'd be tough.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh
dope.
my god.
That'd be
Gronkowski
tough.
when Gronkowski put on the Master Chief outfit, man, that was cool. I
Ooh,
remember
I could,
that.
man. If they made Gronkowski, if they made Gronkowski, what's his name, JD, I might change my opinion.
Yeah, man.
What about
Yeah.
Joe? Now, one of the fan casting was Joe Manganiello as Marcus, and he does look like him a lot. Has the stature and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah,
I could go there. Yeah.
Going back to your prior point, Umbra, with whether you want it to be live action or you want it to be
Animated.
an anime. I remember
Oh.
watching Final
Oh.
Fantasy: The Spirits Within and just how beautiful that movie looked. I thought it was just stunningly realistic, and I loved how they did it. And I wish I saw more of things like that, but unfortunately, they just don't sell well to the greater audience and to the general public, and I think that's why people have steered away from it. But I agree, I think they could tell the story very well that way, and then they could actually use the voices of the characters, which would go a long way in pushing the realism for me personally.
Yeah,
the way
that's
I
my
see it,
thinking.
the way I see it is kids like cartoons and men like live action.
What? Okay, all right. There's some anime
Oh, the
fans.
disrespect.
You can't
Hold
say that
on.
when you're playing
Oh my
video games.
days.
You can't say that.
God.
You can't say that when you're playing video games.
I said it.
Video.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, it's
See, this is why you get the smoke, Riskit. I mean, you can't be out here saying stuff like that.
Exactly.
I never said
Thank
it.
you.
Never enjoyed it.
This man jumps into the traffic and asks why nobody stopped. Like
Right.
what's going on here?
You just gonna run me over? That's how you do it?
Look, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. I've had a great time, but we do have to bring the show to an end. We are pushing 2.5 hours, which is way, way too long. And I'm sorry, I don't want to keep Ham here all day. I'm conscious and we respect your time, Ham. Really appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's been a while. We'll have to get you back a lot sooner. I love your opinions. Strangely, they align with mine quite often, and that's always a good thing. So please let the people know
Gosh.
where they can
You got me
find,
nervous.
where they can find you, what you'll be playing coming up in the near future. And I will say before we jump to you is that if you want to find one of our guests or any one of the panel members, you can head down below in the description and you will find links to all of their links.
So,
Yeah.
well, with that being said, go to that description and check me out. HamSolo05 Gaming on Twitter, but my channel on YouTube is TSWS Gaming. I've had everybody on this panel except JediKnightPeter because he hiding. I'll get him on. I'll get him on though for the Wednesday show. Like I got Umbra. Like I got Umbra on there because
I think that's what it is. Yeah, they said we said it's a great show.
yeah, man. It's it's
tried to butter you
it's
up
a lot
so
of stuff.
to make it, you said you heard that, right? It's always a great show.
Yeah,
Move off talking about what you were talking about. That was slick.
Hey man,
That was slick.
we do shows Tuesday through Friday. It's a lot of fun. I invite various people throughout the gaming community, whether they're big on PlayStation, big on Xbox, big on Nintendo, or a so-called neutral. So I rock. I try to just keep an open mind and just be honest about this. That's why, people like Riskit and many other people within the gaming community look at me and they're like, I don't know if he's a pony or an Xbox. I don't know what he is. Because I just tell it like it is. I just tell it like it is. But at the end of the day, I rock with Xbox. That's just how I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate you guys having me on the show. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful time. Good day. But yeah, I got to go get my daughter some dinner. So yeah, we got to get moving.
Absolutely. DoomCutie, we loved having you on the show. We will have you back very, very soon. Before we bust out into a 3-hour show, I'm going to be very, very quick. DoomCutie, let people know where they can find you, what you'll be up to, what you're looking forward to playing next week.
I'm going to be on Forza or World of Warcraft, so I'll be on Xbox or Battle.net. You can find me DoomCutie everywhere. Sometimes the I is a 1. So I'm hoping to go and stream on Twitch, hopefully, so you can see my bad driving skills. Lovely to have you again, Ham. Love you, darling. Mwah. Thank you for coming. And yeah, have a great week, everyone.
Absolutely
Now,
fantastic.
are you going to blow kisses at all of us? Because I don't like that he got a kiss.
Exactly.
Blowing him.
Exactly.
Ham Solas is
The
sweet.
disrespect.
What? Are we not? We're sweet. Where are our kisses?
No,
Chad, are they
don't
sweet?
listen to them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Did he just drop octaves? He just did a number move. He's like, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your
His
kisses.
voice did get particularly deep all of a sudden.
Tomatoes in the chat.
Right.
Tomatoes in the chat.
Tomatoes in the
Hey,
chair.
there's certain moments, so I just gotta, show my appreciation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, damn. Damn.
All right, before we go on any
I see
longer,
you.
Jedi Knight Pete, can you please give us your breathiest outro? Let people know where you'll be up to, what you'll be playing next week.
You can find me at JediKnightPeter on Twitter and on Xbox. Come join me, join us. The gifts in the chat today were surprisingly excellent. That's because I put most of them in there. Thank you, Ham. Always a pleasure having you on the show, mate. Doomy, Umbra, Riskit, always awesome talking game with you guys. Hopefully we get into some Halo this week. Not sure if we're doing Halo game night, but please join us if you want. Peace.
It's not very breathy. What I meant was, Umbra, please let the people know where they can find you and what you'll be playing this week.
I've got
Oh,
you.
wow.
I was already on that because I didn't like how Ham tried to leave out the way he did, thinking that he was going to have the cool, sexy voice or something. We're just not having that while I'm around.
What's the problem, bruh?
I
What
mean,
we doing here?
it's only enough room for
Oh.
one of us here. Cutie, what you doing?
Oh, that's really disrespectful, bro. I think there's plenty of room.
Oh no, it's only one. I'm not trying any threesomes. I mean, wait, I said that wrong.
Now I'm uncomfortable. What are you gonna do about that?
There's nothing that can be done. Cutie, where's my
I'm
kiss
here for
gift,
this.
bro? Blow my kiss at me.
Absolutely not, Umbra.
What? You just gonna deny me in front of these other? You know what? It's all right.
Anyway, we're heading to 3 hours. We're heading to 3 hours.
I want to hear. No, just say kidding. But Ham, man, thanks for joining us, brother. Of course, all love to my co-host and host. You guys are excellent. Love talking gaming with you guys, and you all, of course, can find me on Xbox Factor on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock Eastern, and here, of course, typically on Fridays at 7 o'clock. Or excuse me, 8 o'clock now Eastern. And on Twitter, Infinite Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. Come back and join us again, guys. Thank you all for watching.
Absolutely, or you can head down to the description. You can find all of us.
Join me on Xbox. I'm gonna be on Halo, and you can find me at Umbra Infinite or Infinite Umbra.
Oh yeah, you can find me on either one of those, and you find me on Halo like my.
I just
double
pressed the
game.
off button. I didn't even do that. No, I didn't.
No, I know the chat likes to hear me do Umbra, so
They
there you go.
do.
Oh my god, that was
You're welcome.
They do
That
like
was
you
too
do-
much.
They do like you to do Umbra. You're right.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
my god. Anyway, so look, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. Ham, again, thanks for coming through. Guys in the chat, you've been absolutely amazing. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out if you're still hanging around listening to this absolute debauchery that's going on here. We will see you all next week. Next week we will be live. So we'll see you all there. And bye.
Later.
Later.